Mikhailo Mudryk, here we go. Caicedo up next, and Madueke Links. We're going to talk about it all here at the Casually Chelsea show. Welcome, everyone, to Casually FC. I am Marshalldbdx. I'm accompanied by Will, Chris, and Scott. We're here to talk to you about a whole heap of things. You guys already know what to do. Smash the like, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our future streams. And when the stream changes, so you don't miss any updates on that, make sure you check out the links in the description, leave a comment down below, and let's get to it. First things first that we're going to talk about is the Potter of Graham future, okay? The future of Graham Potter. So a lot of people have been debating a lot about the Graham Potter in and the Graham Potter out. As most of you guys know here on the panel, we're all pretty patient about Graham Potter and what's going to happen with him, but some of you aren't, and I'm here to tell you that you should be, because the club is. So here we have a tweet coming from Simon Phillips. Those hoping Graham Potter gets sacked by Chelsea soon might be disappointed. Potter is part of a 10-year business plan the club have. This involves player recruitment, squad rebuild, academy, women's team, Cobham, and stadium rebuild. Listen, unlike the last regime, there's a plan in place. There's an organization being built. There's a structure. There's a hierarchy, and we're doing things a lot more professionally than we used to do it. Chelsea is now becoming much more than just Chelsea Football Club. We're becoming a global brand, a global corporation. I don't know what you want to call it, guys, but the thing is that we're trying to be taken a lot more seriously in the sports global stage. I don't know how to word that to make it make any more sense and sound prettier, but Will, what do you think about what you're hearing right here about the 10-year plan and Graham Potter being a part of it, although only for half of it?
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I don't really mind. I'm patient enough to give him a bit of time to get these players out. Like, for example, if we were to rebuild this team with amazing players that are known as stars, and then he still underperforms in 3 years' time, I think that's a conversation then. We're not being starved of success, are we? We won trophies like last season, so I'm fine to wait if we can get it right. And I'm liking a lot of things of what I've seen from this ownership so far. There's a few things which are a little bit of like a scattergun approach, kind of, but they're inexperienced. So we got to wait until everyone gets their guys in, like in the hierarchy and whatever. But yeah, I'm fine with giving Potter time. It's something that's needed to happen. People might say they don't believe in him, and I don't necessarily like. You can't blame someone for not believing in him, I guess. Like it's your opinion, it's just your view. But I feel like it's unfair to compare Potter to like other managers that you might have wished was given more time, as much as we might love them. I think Potter is the guy for this project.
I mean, Scott, I know you're pretty much backing all this. You think it's probably the best approach. I mean, do you disagree with the 10-year plan? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think, what are your thoughts overall?
I will say I don't believe anything of what that article said because of who reported it. That's not necessarily that I don't believe that he isn't in the owner's plans to be here for the long term. I just don't particularly believe any of that just because of who reported it. As I said, I also I do back Potter, and I will continue to back Potter, at least when it comes to this season. The thing that I have a hard time believing is, especially when it comes to stuff in the article, it mentions stuff like it mentions things like player recruitment, the women's team, youth, Cobham, everything like that. The way that it's spoken about in there, and it might just be my reading of what was spoken about in there, is it, to me, like that kind of puts it as being Graham Potter's going to have an influence across the whole team, like similarly to how, for example, Pep Guardiola had an influence across both Barcelona and Bayern Munich in terms of when he was there. You could see that there was like his way of playing filtered across the entirety of the club, like even the youth teams. For example, Erik ten Hag was his assistant for a while at Bayern Munich. He coached the Bayern Munich second team. And the style of play was very, very similar to how Pep was coaching the main team, so that the transition from the youth team to the main team was a lot easier. Potter, for me, just doesn't seem like the type of guy that works with. I don't think his way of playing is like. I don't think it's something he doesn't. His way of playing, and I think him as a manager, I don't feel like that's a way that's possible. If that makes sense, like I don't know how easily transferable that is to like the rest of the youth teams, the women's teams, things like that. Like I don't know if that is transferable. Like I could see that being a case with someone like a Pep or someone like a Ten Hag, for example, or someone. I'm just trying to think who else off the top of my head, like maybe like an Ancelotti or people like that, people of a certain stature as manager. So like I don't know. That's the bit that I'm just a bit like unsure about whether that would actually work.
Yeah.
Marshall froze?
Yeah, I don't know.
He has indeed.
Marshall, unless you're really good at staying still, then
Oh, no.
yeah.
I'm like in and out. So I mean, Chris, go ahead and say what you want to say about that tweet. I'm gonna restart this real quick, so I'll be right back.
With the for example, the obviously us sticking with Potter, I think it's gonna be like definitely a new culture thing. I would just say, I don't know. We'll obviously have to back a manager. We're gonna stick with him for a few years. Long as he doesn't get us to relegation battle, he'd be fine probably. Next season they probably still want improvements, like challenging for top 4. I think the board will still want him to like actually like compete for that, because they're not gonna want to settle like, oh yeah, you can just be 10th or whatever like now. But I think this season he's allowed to be like how he is. But the one thing I'm not really convinced with Potter is his like management skills, like playing the same players. Like that's one issue. And then like maybe it's part of like the Reece James, you know, when he got injured, he played him straight away back from his injury, and then he got injured again. Maybe that's like down to him, because apparently the coach. But then again, okay, I won't go into that. But the coach apparently said he wasn't fully fit for that or something. I don't know, but like that could be just load of nonsense I heard. So yeah, like just management skills like that.
On the topic that you just brought up, the medical stuff, let's go ahead and dive into that as well. I have a tweet right here. Not necessarily a tweet, but an Instagram screenshot from, I think Fabrizio spoke about this. We'll read it together. Pretty much, here I have CFC news page. Chelsea are conducting a review of the club's medical department as they attempt to find reasons behind a devastating injury crisis amid fears amongst players, and the decision to sack long-standing staff has backfired. Long-serving medical chief Paco Biosca was dismissed shortly after the Boli Clear Lake takeover and was followed out with an exit door by popular head physio Thierry Laurent, who was sacked over Zoom. The moves to get rid of the Biosca and Laurent shocked long-standing Chelsea players as the club outsourced some of the medical work to a private physiotherapy company used by celebrities, including Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl. Players believe changes to the medical department were made too quickly, and the individuals they trusted with their fitness are no longer at the club. And this is coming from Matt Law in the Telegraph. Now, one thing I want to point out, people love to say like, oh, we got this celebrity medical team and all that stuff. No. Read it correctly right here. Outsource some of the medical work to a private physiotherapy company used by celebrities, including yada yada. Not necessarily that it's celebrity staff or this is only celebrity doctor. No. It's very simply, we guys, it's not the first time Matt Law has done some writing and worded things in a certain way to make it seem worse than it actually is. We witnessed this under Tuchel. We witnessed it under Lampard. Listen, I'm sure someone who owns 2 professional sports teams, some of the best sports teams in the world, mind you, being the LA Dodgers and Lakers, I'm sure he's not going to be incompetent enough to hire just a random celebrity team to take care of a global brand that is Chelsea. I'm sure it's a respectable team, but also understand this. Our medical team last season also went under an injury crisis. So this one, I can't really blame Bowley for. It was hit or miss. You either bring a medical team and it works out or it doesn't. So I think people are saying that this injury crisis is worse than the one last season, when I would argue that it's probably the same. The only differences are that last season it was spaced out more and in sections, whereas this season it's all coming at once. So I don't know if you guys have any input on this. Chris, we can start with you. or whoever wants to start
No,
off.
that's right. Christian starts. Cool.
With the what? The medical?
I mean, yes, Chris. That is what.
Because I did get stuck for a second because like someone got sacked at the Zoom or something. So
Yeah, that's quite.
that to me was quite outrageous for me. Like imagine like you get on a Zoom call like Todd Bowley or something. Yeah, you're sacked. Like pack your bags. Like I never is Zoom like sacking feel disrespectful? I feel like that's very disrespectful.
That's
doing it
mad
over Zoom.
disrespectful. I can't even lie.
Yeah, that's what when I heard Zoom sacking, that's why I was caught off guard. But yeah, that to me is very disrespectful. It's like remember when Costa? It's not like exactly the same, but Costa got sacked over the phone. It's like something like that. That feels like that. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, but it's so specific. I think he might be taking the piss a little bit over Zoom. It's not even like over a phone call or anything. It's like, so
yeah, you just go
specific,
face
so
to
weird.
at least I see their face.
To a certain extent, too, you got to understand that Bowley is in the United States. This, at the time that this
Couldn't
happened,
he
it
got
was in the
someone to do
summer.
it though? Or maybe he wanted to do it himself.
He was still making his team, right? This happened over the summer. He was still trying
Seems
to
like
negotiate
yeah,
deals with all different types of clubs. He is also still doing his own tour with Chelsea in the United States, with Dodgers and Lakers, still managing that as well. The guy's really busy.
I agree,
So
Thomas.
I mean,
I
we still
get it.
haven't. We still haven't got a director of football. We've got a technical director. We haven't
I
got.
think that with the director of football, we're just waiting on Michael Edwards, and he's not
Yeah,
available until
I
the
think
summer.
that will happen.
You know what? With the medical thing, it can't get any worse, can it? Let's be real. Like last season, this season, we've had constant injuries where it has affected us, and this season it's definitely affected us. 12 players out injured or whatever. Like it can't get any worse. So we need.
You
some
guys
more,
think
like,
it's worse than
medical
last
stuff.
year's?
Can.
No,
Say
it's not worse. No, this season ain't worse than last season. But
I think
both
it is.
seasons,
I think it is.
Well, last
Yeah.
season's worse than this.
No, this season. This season. Sorry.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
season.
yeah. This season to me is actually a bit worse, but like I'm saying, both seasons are like really bad of injuries. Like we've had probably over 100 injuries now since last season. Because I've read like something where we had 96 injuries like a month ago, I think it was, and that's the most of any team in top 5 leagues. So we definitely need to improve our medical because something's gone wrong. I feel. Bring back Marina. Like we had no injuries under her. It's a joke, but yeah, like I don't know. Like
You mean Ina, Chris, not Marina,
no? Fuck. Why did I say
He's the
Marina?
fullback.
I meant Eva. Whoops.
Yeah, people have been touting to bring her back. I've been hearing that.
Oh,
I
sorry.
mean,
Yeah, I mean she was in London today, and that made everyone go crazy.
oh, yeah. Well, I mean, do you guys? I'm sure you guys probably think that over the course of time, sooner rather than later, we are gonna address this medical team issue and probably improve on it. Do you guys? Do you guys agree with the sacking of the previous medical team?
I'll be completely honest. Yeah, I don't know if it's so much to do with the medical team. I think it's just that we've got injury-prone players and they're not being managed necessarily to level because we don't have the depth. Like if Reece is fit or half fit or 3/4 fit, he's playing because we're not gonna play Aspie over him. Like Chilwell is a little bit injury-prone now as well. Like he's just been.
So is Kovacic.
Kovacic is, yeah. Kante's had injuries for a few years. I think players just sometimes get over time running to the ground, and that's just what happens. It's about trying to find players maybe that don't have such bad injury records unless they're really, really worth it, or they're low risk, as in like B. And I think and we don't have the quality to rotate. Like there's certain players that, as I said before, like Reece, they'll play. So I don't know really how much it is down to the medical team. But yeah,
I say bring back Eva like Kaiser's man. Eva Cheeks.
Oh my God, Chris.
Jesus Christ.
I honestly feel Bowley is setting a new standard in Chelsea, plus casual. You realize Chelsea got a new social media team or Twitter. Yeah, I mean, the Chelsea admin was moving mad 2 days ago.
I love the new Chelsea admin.
I love it. I love to see it. And you know what? It's a lot more engaging. It's a lot more entertaining for everyone to witness it. But listen, I trust that this man has experience. It's not like he's not involved in sports, and in sports, many similar injuries happen. I mean, so it's not like it doesn't translate. So I think he knows people. We're gonna get a proper team, or if anything, too, like we can build a team. We don't have to get all one medical team all in one fair swoop. Like we can get like the best in physio and the best, rehabilitator and so on and so forth. So.
What I find is weird though. I agree with you, Marshall, but you think that like I feel like all these reports blaming like odd individuals or whatever in the medical team just really is weird to me. Like I really feel like it's a nonsense kind of article. I'll be real, or a statement. I mean, I think he's trying to take the piss a little bit. I'm genuinely being serious.
No, I agree with you. I think the English media kind of has a little bit of a bias towards Bowley simply because he's American, and I don't want to like dive into why that could be. That's a whole different topic for a whole different channel and a whole different everything. But let's go ahead on the topic of medical. We're talking about someone who just completed their medical and was announced in yesterday's game. Guys, I'm excited for this one. Here we go. It started off as we thought we were just being used as bait for Arsenal to up their bid, but it turns out we were in it for the real long run, and quite literally the long run. 8.5-year deal, 8.5-year contract. Let's talk about it. So and this moved quickly, by the way. So I got a few tweets. Let's paint a little bit of a timeline here, okay?
95 million.
Exclusive. Chelsea board arrived today in Poland. This was when was it? The 14th. So 2 days ago. Chelsea board arrived today in Poland. Open talks with Shakhtar on a €100 million deal for Mudryk. CFC want to be fast in the club negotiation. Arsenal always had player preference, but no green light. 96 after the 96 million bid yet. So next tweet after that, Shakhtar were announcing and saying here, the FC Shakhtar president Rinat Akhmetov and Chelsea owner Begdat Adbali discussed Mykhailo Mudryk transfer to Chelsea FC today. Parties are now very close to agree with players transfer and the club. And who was the other gentleman that is working with Vivel?
Winstanley.
Winstanley also accompanied him in this meeting.
Oh, was it? Yeah. No, it was Winstanley.
So, yeah. Fabrizio Romano exclusive. Chelsea have reached an agreement with Shakhtar Donetsk for Mudryk. €100 million fee agreed between parties today after mission. Chelsea now pushing a player's side, as Mudryk priority has always been Arsenal. AFC bid remains €95 million, add-on included. Next tweet. Mykhailo Mudryk has successfully completed all medical tests in the morning. Mudryk signing and contract as a new Chelsea player until 2030 right now in club's headquarters. Chelsea want to unveil Mykhailo today at Stamford Bridge. So that was yesterday. He was unveiled at halftime. And Potter on Mykhailo Mudryk deal. Mykhailo is a young player with exciting quality in the final third. He's very fast, direct. I like him, tells BBC Sport. I think the crowd will like him too. I really hope we do.
I like that last bit. I'm glad that he likes him.
I'm glad too. It does seem. I'll touch on this, but it does seem like these are. We'll discuss it. So Mykhailo Mudryk was signed an 8.5-year deal on Chelsea wages worth £150,000 a week, which is not bad. This is reported from Nazar and Sullett. Now, Mudryk, for those of you who do not know, those of you who have not seen him, very similar profile of player like Pulisic. Probably would say he's a little bit faster. We don't know about his injury history, but he can dribble and he takes on players, which is what we wanted from Pulisic when he came out of the pandemic. I think that's what everyone was expecting. Is he going to replace Pulisic? I don't think so. We'll see. There's a tweet later on that we'll discuss Pulisic as well. But this is an exciting prospect. 18 years old, €100 million, 8.5 year long contract, which is a long time. He's basically stuck with us for a minute. Is this too long of a contract, boys?
No.
And is the fee too high for you?
This is what they're doing now.
FFP, isn't it?
No, this is the longest one. This is 8.5 years is the longest one.
I was going to say, were the Mount and James ones 7+1 or 6+1s? Were they 6+1s?
7.
I think there were 6+1s.
Like, this is what they're doing.
Is the Mudryk one though also due to FFP because it sort of balances it out a bit more?
It makes sense that it is, because that's the other thing too. People are like going mad and getting all upset about like, oh, we're going to pay €100 million for Mudryk. Why didn't we do that for Enzo? Listen,
but
It's ridiculous. I know, Scott. With the Enzo deal, Benfica. First of all, I am so sick and tired of people just looking at this from one side of the dilemma. Like everyone just blaming Bowley, everyone just blaming Vivell and Chelsea for how they moved. How about how Benfica didn't want to negotiate whatsoever? We'll talk more about Enzo, but how about Benfica didn't want to move or budge on the 127 million euros flat, straight, one-shot payment, which no club is going to want to do.
Can I touch on that?
And FFP as well. Hold your thoughts on that, Chris, because I have a section for Enzo that we're going to discuss all that stuff as well.
It's about all that.
But yeah, FFP, go ahead.
Well, no, it's not about FFP. You know, like you talk about Enzo, 126 million. Obviously, yeah, the 100 million euros is put on Mudryk, but apparently it's 70 million now, and then 30 million if we win the Premier League or something. I heard. So I think we have to pay that when we win a trophy.
It's like 66 mil up front.
It's 60. Well, according to Alex, it's even less than that. But I don't know what his source he saw, and I don't quite know what's up. What I saw was 62 million pounds. It's 62 million pounds as a upfront payment. And then all of the add-ons are to do with us winning either the Champions League or the Premier League.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
They're never getting paid.
Or like most of it's either him hitting certain things.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it's either him hitting certain measurement or like certain what's the word? I can't think what the thing is.
Requirements.
Level.
Incentives and all that.
Yeah. That's the word. So hitting certain incentives, and then us either winning the Champions League or the Premier League. And it's like we want to win that anyway. So it's like. And if we win that, especially if we win, fuck it. If we win either of them, we get a huge payout.
And we're happy because we won a huge trophy again. So
exactly.
So and that all is.
And this is the thing. I don't understand people getting annoyed about this if it means, for example, we couldn't do like Caicedo because that's a bit different. That's more closer. There's no reason for you to get annoyed if we couldn't do Enzo from this because literally we're paying half of the amount up front to Mudryk we would have paid to Enzo. Half the amount.
Still an opportunity that could arrive in the summer as well. Like we know the player does, like would join us. Like I don't think. Let's be honest. I don't think Enzo. Obviously, he'd care about European football, or whatever. But it's not. I don't think that'll be a make or break deal because he can clearly see now that the odds of us getting Champions League are against us. So. You know,
as well, I think with the Enzo thing is there's an opportunity because I don't know where else he goes. Because the way I look at it, right, he could go Real Madrid, but they need to get rid of one of their midfielders first. Like, they apparently reports are they're going to try and move Camavinga on, which is fucking wild.
That is wild.
But they're like, so they need to get rid of one of their midfielders first. Plus, they're reportedly interested in Bellingham. Liverpool, he doesn't fit at all unless they're going to move away from Klopp's system. What was I say?
Sorry if I distracted you. I was just gonna. Since we're on the topic of Enzo,
I read the chat by accident. So he doesn't fit Klopp's system. Plus, we don't know what's happening with their ownership. If they still have what they called FSG in charge, they're only buying like one big player in the summer. Not unless they somehow manage to sell like 2 or 3 big players.
One second, Will. Since we're already on the topic of Enzo, I might as well bring this up. So I meant to bring this up last week, but we went off so long. So this is like some of the latest tweets that we have towards the Enzo deal that clarifies a lot of the misconceptions that have been going on with relation to Enzo and how we approached it. So PYS reporting here from Matt Law. Graham Potter's believed to have backed the bid for Enzo Fernandez, and Chelsea aren't ruling out making another bid this month. So it is possible we go back in for Enzo. It's not the end of the world. So here we have a clear message from Enzo Fernandez as he celebrates sending love to Benfica badge and fans after scoring. So pretty much take this however you want to take it. Tapping the badge, saying he's staying at Benfica.
I think
doing his thing. And then one more tweet real quick, Will, before we go on to what you want to say. Chelsea Express, Simon Phillips here. It has become clear to me after speaking to sources further about it that both clubs drastically moved the goalposts on Enzo. Both Chelsea and Benfica moved goalposts on the Enzo fee. So I don't know how exactly the details are in regards to Benfica and what they did to move the goalposts. Maybe they had agreed that they would take the release clause in installments, and then when Chelsea showed up, they decided no, we want to stick with the 127 euros up front. We don't know. I would like to know, but at the end of the day, negotiations aren't just done with one person. There's two people involved and a player. So go ahead, Will.
I think the only move that really makes sense for Enzo Fernandez is maybe Manchester United if they get a new ownership in, and it's a rich one. I think that's the only real competition I see willing to go in for him this summer. I don't really see anything that directly pays anywhere near that amount of money. So yeah, I mean, especially after the Declan Rice to Arsenal.
That's what we'll do.
The Declan Rice to Arsenal news that broke earlier with the Athletic and everything. I say fuck it. Make Enzo our marquee transfer in the summer. Honestly, I kid you not. If we sign a backup right back and Caicedo this window, I don't mind if we literally go in and get Enzo, and then we just focus on moving a lot of players on that shouldn't be here, and then we bring back Colwill into centre back. I think honestly, Enzo is a must go for in the summer. I think that's the guy we should try and get the most.
I think we will go from that. That's the thing. Like from the looks of things, it's looked as though when Bowley's wanted a player, he's gone for it. Like the only players that if you look at the players we haven't we've been kind of interested in, not gone for, most of that was during the summer, and a lot of that came from the either Tuchel didn't fancy him or just there was a better opportunity out there. Like for example, Koundé just wasn't fancied by Tuchel.
True.
Which wasn't Tuchel's first choice, and I'll be real, I'm glad we didn't get him if Tuchel's plan was what it was. And you look at Ake and Delict, the opportunities there just weren't amazing when there was another opportunity or other opportunities out there, like with Fofana, for example, and with Koulibaly. I know both of those so far haven't turned out the best through different reasons, but the opportunities there were better opportunities at the time than the likes of Ake and Delict.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think if he wants Enzo, the only thing stopping us getting Enzo is genuinely if Real Madrid go in for him. Because I don't see anyone else that's going to go for him where he's going to want to go more. Or also anyone else that's going to
price,
bid that.
especially.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the thing is, that will go down. I will say that will go down.
In the summer, you think so?
I feel like it will, because at the end of the day, they paid 18 million for him. 1-8. I know they have to get some, a decent amount of money because they have River Plate have a buy-on percentage. Or a sell-on percentage, I should say. But I think we will get Enzo, and I'll be real, even if we don't, it's not the end of the world.
Can I say something a little bit unpopular? Yeah, this might be a little bit unpopular.
Go for it. See if it tops my unpopular opinion.
I don't even think. No, it won't. I don't even think it is really unpopular. I think if I really want us to do any sort of, if we're going to sign any more attackers, I've seen Vlahovic linked today, and I've seen Osimhen. Yeah, Marshall.
No, I know about it. I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, I might as well talk about it today. I'm excited about that one.
I don't want them unless we get them in January now. I don't want us to go after them in the summer. I think we should just have a clear, get who you want to get in attack now, and then maybe you get in Nkunku in this, who's joining as well. That is fine for me with attack. Focus on other areas. Midfield, Caicedo and the right back need to be done in January, I think. I think they need to be done now. And then summer, focus on getting Felix done and Enzo. And then we're fine. Give these new signings a bit of time to gel, ready for next season, and then we can kick on. Instead of just signing everyone at once in the summer, trying to fit them all in at once. And then it takes a bit of, and then during the gelling time, everyone goes, oh, these players are shit. They're flops. Whereas if they come in now and it takes a little bit of time to gel, we're already 10th. What are people going to say? We're shit. We already know we're shit. That's why we signed these players.
I can't lie.
I mean, go ahead.
Bob Madueke, and even he's a maybe because of injury problems. I don't want another attacker this window.
Yeah, okay, so back to the topic of Mykhailo Mudryk here. I think what you guys are saying, everything you guys have said is completely valid, including with the Enzo stuff. I think in the summer, it's probably a good idea to go for Enzo. It'd probably be more affordable. It'd probably be more negotiable as well, because let's have it right.
Let's have it right.
No freaking club is going to go and pay exactly what a club is asking for. all clubs, all deals are negotiated. It's called negotiation for a reason. You know, you either negotiate a way to pay it, you negotiate how much you want to pay. I mean, as much as we might not like Marina, she was goated at getting good prices for players. We talk about Mudryk and the add-ons. Think about Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz was, people want to say Kai Havertz was what, 80 million pounds, record breaking
75, I think
75, but that was with add-ons, people. And guess what? He won the Champions League. He got Leverkusen got their bonus from that Champions League. It's funny you said that. We're never going to win a Champions League.
Let's not gas this up. He's been a shit signing.
I know, but I'm just saying the add-on was there. We never thought it would hit the add-on, and then we ended up hitting that add-on. So we owed Leverkusen for that.
I'll be real.
Champions League.
I sort of am on the edge sometimes of this, but a part of me just wants to back Havertz. It sounds awful.
All right, no, I'm not trying to make this about whether we back Havertz or not. I'm just saying, like, we negotiate deals. We negotiated deals like the ones with Havertz, where there were add-ons on there, including like winning the Champions League and the Premier League and stuff. That's still part of his contract. So if we do win a Premier League, Leverkusen is still going to get something out of it. So it's what I was trying to bring up is that, you know, we negotiate these deals for a reason, to get a good end of the deal. Everyone wants a good deal. The club wants what they want to get. They want to get it in whatever means possible, whatever's reasonable. In this case, Benfica's not being reasonable with Enzo. Now, with Shakhtar Donetsk, they were happy. Apparently, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but apparently the 70 million up front is going to be paid in installments over the course of the next seasons and such, which allows us more headway into FFP. Guarantee you, if we had paid 127 million euros up front for Enzo, that's the only signing we're making this window. The only sign, unless we have players that go out like Ziyech, which there's no links, and Pulisic. Most of our team that would go out, they won't pass a medical anyways, because half of our team is injured. So I think it's smart on Boli. And you know what? This player, if it does work out, which I really hope it does, I am worried about lack of space for a player like Mudryk. I think the dribbling is going to compensate for that. But if it does work out, I think all of us will be incredibly happy, and we're not even going to discuss this giant fee that we're paying for him. So I don't know what you guys want to add to that.
We signed like 4 players this January, right?
6.
6?
Santos, Badiashile.
Oh, yes. And Fofana. I forgot about Santos.
Sorry. Fofana.
And Cuckoo.
Yeah,
exactly. We did
yeah. And
Mudryk is the last one.
That's the one. Forgot his name.
That's mad, because like I never see a club do that.
And come the end of the window, we could be up to 9 signings.
Like,
which is crazy for a January window.
Which is also why, by the way, when I and I will maintain this till the day I die. People say buying in January is hard. No, it isn't. It's never been hard.
We just proved it.
It's more expensive.
I've never seen.
I would say that.
It's kind of more expensive. That's cool, but it's not hard.
I've never seen like. I don't remember like a club in the Premier League spend. I'm trying to think. Spending over like 70 million on 2 players in January. I'm trying to think.
No.
Like I think we'd be the first team to do that, surely.
We're out here breaking records, man. We're breaking budgets, and we're breaking bank.
Like us and Deadwood as well. Like I think that proves like we actually are out to like sell Deadwood, because we're bringing in so many players in January, and then in summer surely we're gonna bring in a couple of players as well. Probably not as many as January, probably not, but we're gonna bring in a few extra, and then a few are definitely going out. Like a few's definitely going out, and Mason Mount's struggling to get a contract signed as well.
Good.
And all that.
Thank the
So
Lord.
you like I have heard he could be on his way out as well.
Good.
It's
Also,
very
I just
possible.
realised as well, because someone mentioned his name, we've actually made 7 signings.
7?
Wow.
Felix as well. Again, if you count Slonina as being for this window, which it was actually, because it was in between the summer and it was in between the. Actually, no, did we?
Selena was in the summer, and then we loaned him out to Fire.
Okay, no, so it is 6.
Okay, I was gonna say like what?
Still
Selena was in training recently, I think, because what MLS.
He played in the last developmental game.
Okay.
He got clean sheet as well.
Pulisic,
He didn't.
yeah,
It's mad.
Wait. That's a bit. So you're saying
We'll touch on that. We'll touch on that, Chris. But I want to touch on this topic, on this one right here, because when we look at now the attack with Mudryk, it's safe to say that come next year, depending on what happens with João Felix, we could have an attack that looks like, depending on the situations here, but either anywhere from Mudryk and Pulisic on the left, and Cuckoo in the middle, and then on the right hand side, we'd probably have someone like Ziyech, depending on if he stays a go, or Sterling. Right? Am I forgetting anyone? I forgot Felix. Right?
It depends what formation we're going to play, but this is why everything you're mentioning is why I don't want us to sign another attacker this window, apart from maybe Madueke. But again, that's a maybe.
Yeah.
Is because I want us to wait till the summer, because it depends on what we're going to do with Felix. Are we going to make him permanent? Is he going to go back out go back to Atletico? And what's the plan with Nkunku? Do they see him as a 10? Do they see him as a 9? Do they see him as one of the wingers? Because he can play all three. I think he works best as a 10, but he can play all 4 actually, if you want to count the 2 wings as separate.
Yeah, maybe. I'd have him as the 9. I can't even lie.
I think either works. I think if you're going to keep Felix, then I think, yes, you can have both of them. Him as the 9 and Felix as the 10. I think that works. But that's why I'd say wait until what the club's plan is with him. Because if they see him as the 10, for example, and he's going to replace Felix in this team, then I think going and getting a 9 in the summer makes absolute sense, because I want Kai Havertz gone as soon as possible. And then you've got both Fofana potentially and Brozier, depending on how he is after the injury, as understudies, as backups that can come in and get minutes here and there, or one of them goes out on loan and you have the other one as the backup. But if they see him as a 9, then you get Felix as a 10, then you don't need that striker. Then you literally, come the summer, unless you want to go and get a guy that's going to be the backup to, say you get rid of Pulisic, you'll probably need a backup left winger. That's cool.
That's
you don't need to touch that. That means you don't need to touch the attack in the summer. You get Felix, and that's it. That's all you do, and you focus on everything behind it.
I think
that's why I don't want to get another striker. Because that's 4 strike. That's depending on what they see Nkunku as. Come the summer, that's 5 strikers you've got in your team.
With Madueke, I think it's kind of like, even with the injuries, it's like it's going to be a relatively lowish fee compared to our other things. I think 30 million-ish. But
I think this is the thing as well, and I think Keyshawn's just mentioned it. People forget he's going to be the backup. He's going to be the understudy to Sterling when everyone's fit.
Yeah, and then
he's the dynamism you get off the bench. He's your guy that you bring on when you've got, like, say you're down a goal or things aren't going well, you need a bit something different. You bring him on with like 30 minutes, 40 minutes to go, 35 maybe. It's like he can literally change the game on its head, because he's like, he can. There's a stat that's going around in his last game. I don't know if anyone's seen this. In terms of take-ons, he completed 8 dribbles in his last game, which is more than our entire attack this season or something.
He created 7 chances at the weekend for PSV. 7.
Well, I mean, since you guys are already on the topic of Madueke, let's go ahead. That's how you say his name, right? Madueke?
Yeah, not Madueke.
Also, all right, let's
not intentionally, but we just end up like moving ahead.
No, it's good. I mean, there's so many things to talk about this show that we're just gonna hop around and we're gonna touch on everything. But let's just transition and talk about Madueke. Why not? And someone in the chat asked for it. Ask and you shall receive. So let's go ahead and discuss this. So first tweet that I found, I did some research on this guy, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Well, we'll see. But first thing I got here is the secret scout. So a close source has told me that Noni Madueke has a buyout clause in his contract. Chelsea and PSV keen to get deal done. Noni is excited about the possibility of joining Chelsea. Next tweet that I have here: there could be up to 3 further additions to this month, with a midfield a priority, while Chelsea have also opened talks over potential deal to sign PSV Eindhoven's England under-21 winger Noni Madueke. So this is coming from Simon Johnson, Liam Toomey, Athletic, all reporting pretty much. Yeah, good sources, all reporting the same thing. There's an admission that some mistakes were made in the summer transfer window, where they spent an excess of £250 million on 8 players. The consortium feel they have learned valuable lessons from the splurge, Jesus Christ, particularly when it comes to overpaying for players. Full article down below. Next one. So this guy's English, if I'm not mistaken.
He used to play for Tottenham, I want to say.
I think
He used to be in there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
He's from London.
Yes,
Gotcha.
he used to be in Tottenham's academy.
He's
Oh.
he's actually a very good backup to have. I'm really excited with how balanced our attack is potentially looking, depending on if you know who might get in. Or the 2-3 players we could talk about actually could be the you know who.
I'll ask more questions about him when I'm done reading these tweets because I am curious now. PSV Eindhoven coach Ruud van Nistelrooy has admitted that this club are fighting a losing battle to keep Noni Madueke out of Chelsea's clutches. More below. This is from the Mirror. Don't know how reliable these sources are, but there's a lot of sources saying a lot of things about this player. No confirmation was received about a deal involving Noni Madueke. No deal can be an option for PSV. The club also insists on replacement if Madueke leaves. Ziyech. He just wants to play the game tomorrow, even if the deal is struck. So that's on him. And talks with Noni Madueke and Marcus Thuram continue, but of course, after Mykhailo Mudryk, it will be time to make a decision on offensive players. And this is coming from Fabrizio. I think there's more on Fabrizio here. Oh yeah, and we'll touch on this as well with the whole attacker situation with Ziyech and Oba. But yeah, so go ahead, Will. I think you wanted to mention some things about this player.
I think he'll be a very good backup. I think it adds another dynamic.
What position? What side of the attack?
Right wing.
Right wing. He'd be
right wing. Yeah, we need a right winger really bad.
Yeah. I think if you look at our potential attacking options, they're quite balanced. If we sign Madueke and get rid of a few, I want Pulisic to stay as well. I really want him to stay, even if it's as a backup. Mudryk, Pulisic, Madueke, Sterling all bring different things. Obviously, I'm not seeing Mudryk that much. I'm not gonna act like I'm an expert on him, but he's the fastest player in the Champions League this year, and he looks like he's got a very he's got mad acceleration, but he seems like, unlike Pulisic, he actually keeps up with that pace instead of just having that quick burst. I think we've got a lot of good positionally aware players. Like Sterling's runs are going to be very important, and Kunku's got a nice balance of being able to poach areas, and so can Pulisic. And then Felix is just if he can get him done, he can pretty much offer most things. So I think it'll be a perfect backup, but if it doesn't happen, I think we should just stop on attackers.
I lied what I said earlier. The only other attacker I'd take, depending on... You know what? I'm actually tempted to say, even if we get Madueke, is Thuram, just because, again, it's one of those where it's he's going to be so cheap anyway. It's a no-risk signing. He's going to be 10, 15 million, or you sign him on a free and get him in the summer. And it's just a no-risk, high-reward signing.
It's like the Barkley one where we sign for 15 minutes. If he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out.
It's not even that. It's one of those, I'm just trying to think of another example. That I can use. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but it's anything we sell him for. Say we get him for free, anything we sell him for is profit. Literally anything we sell him for.
Oh yeah, if we get him for free, then yeah, it's
so it's that one I'd take as well, just because, and as well, he can play striker, he can play left wing. Him signing probably means, I'd say almost certainly means that one of the likes of Pulisic, or probably two of the likes of Pulisic, Ziyech are going, which I'm happy for, or maybe Havertz goes or whatever. Beyond the matter what,
you're an absolute fire today, man, because we might as well bring this up as well. So Thuram is also been linked with Chelsea. Apparently he wasn't interested in the club earlier in the window, and now he has changed his mind. Don't know what it happened, but what it is, but I might as well bring up these tweets. PYS, Chelsea are in advanced talks to sign Marcus Thuram. The player has changed his mind over the last 24 hours. Chelsea understood to have submitted a tempting offer. This is coming from Nathan Jissing. This was 4 days ago in reference to Marcus Thuram. And then I got another tweet here as well. Chelsea working on signing Marcus Thuram and has presented him and his agent with a plan. Also in midfield, Moises Caicedo is a player they really appreciate. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano, as you guys already know. Pretty reliable source here. But Yeah, I mean, look, I can't say I know much about Marcus Thuram, and I know a little bit more about Madueke than him. I don't know if I look. I've seen what the scouting team has brought here. We saw how Badiashiel's performed. We saw how Felix performed in the team. I have good feelings that Vivell is building a proper team here. So I'll back the signings. I don't really rate them, but I'll back the signings. And if they'll do well here, then they'll do well. But what you were going to say, Scott, go ahead and continue.
There's a few things. Like I said, with the Thuram thing, I just like it just because it's cheap. He's a good player. Like we talk about the things we lack in the attack. He brings something we don't have in the attack: pace and power. And I'm not talking road running because that's completely different. I'm talking about someone who can go on the ball, will be able to get past players, but it will have the strength to hold them off. Has that little burst of pace. Like it's sort of the similar thing we were looking at with like Leao, just to a lesser extent. Like he's not quite as good as that. As Leao is, but it's something different that we have, and I think it's good. Also on the Madueke thing, something I saw yesterday. This is a player that Vivell has been looking at since he was in charge, or not in charge, but at Leipzig. So he has been looking at him for at least a couple of years now. So it's a guy he scouted like meticulously. So that puts my faith in that a little bit more. The only worry I have with Madueke is his injury history, and it would be and the only reason that is because of so his first couple of years weren't too bad. I think he missed a total. So from what I see, he missed a total of 11 games across 2 seasons, which isn't too bad, especially because one of those games was literally right at the end of his first season. The problem comes from like last year and this year. So last year he missed 25 games from injury, all of them muscle injuries. All of them muscle injuries. And this season as well, he's missed 18 games from an ankle injury.
Wow.
So those are the only 2 things that gives me pause. But again, if he's going to be the backup behind Sterling, if you can find a way to harness that, I think he can work. Like I do think he can work.
So it also depends on if we go for like I know they're not the same position or role or anything, but even if we go for like and spend 20 million on Zachariah as well, because that's a rumor that went away.
I forgot we have to buy Zachary if we want him, and 20 million.
We don't have
No,
to.
I meant Zachariah.
No, but no, I'm saying if we want him, we have to.
Oh, as in Zachary and the
Russian
dude.
Yeah.
I'm actually
that guy.
a good backup.
Yeah.
I still want him. I was going to say, I just keep seeing comps move, and they're so good, bro. This guy actually has a vision, like a weight of pass, has vision, like has. Bro, I've seen him so many times in these comps, and I know comps aren't the best way to judge players. But in these comps, I've seen him so many times just do a no-look pass, and I'm just like, our players are putting that into row Z if they're trying to attempt that.
Not minerals,
fucking minerals, bruv.
Don't know what you're talking about.
He looks like De Bruyne though before Pep, like when he had a bit of personality.
He's the
As in
Russian
like the Wolfsburg one,
De
the Wolfsburg De Bruyne.
Big up, Josh.
But yeah, I just think it works. And as well, what this means is the biggest thing for me with getting these signings in. And well, there's 2 things. Number one, someone pointed this out as well. People moaning that we haven't got a midfield, right? And we haven't got a right back. I get it, it's annoying. What I'm noticing though, and I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. This is not the right way to necessarily do things. If you notice, there's been a pattern now with both windows. In the summer, there were a few other signings like Sterling, Aubameyang, things like that. Most of the signings we make were heavily weighted towards the defense. Understandable, but heavily weighted towards the defense. This summer, heavily weighted towards the attack. With the odd signing, maybe we get Caicedo, for example.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying this is the right way to do it, but it looks as though they are trying to fix one area, like completely, and then move on to the next area.
I think
I think that it can work, and I think what getting all these players do as well, with the guys that if you have like Madueke, you have Mudryk, you get Felix on you sign him permanently. You've got Nkunku, you've got say you get Thuram as well. Like that's 5 guys. You throw in Fofana as well as we sign. That's 6 guys. Like you could argue that's kind of your attack complete. Maybe you throw in another, like you throw in like a Brozier as well, or like a Sterling. It just means we can get rid of some of these bums. Like we can actually get rid of them because we've got their replacements. There's no, because I saw a report I think yesterday. It was like we can't, like we're looking to sell Gallaghar. I don't know who it came from, but we're looking to sell Gallaghar, Ziyech, and Loftus-Cheek. But the only one that the club is actively, or it feels confident to sell right now, is Ziyech, because the other 2 they feel like the cover isn't there with the injuries. And it's like all three of those should be gone. Like I know Gallaghar had a good game yesterday, but all three of those realistically should be gone from Chelsea Football Club. But now with the guys we've got coming in, we can actually get rid of these attackers. You know, if Mount doesn't want the new contract, bye-bye, go. If Pulisic is not going to step up, go away. If Ziyech still wants to be the same Ziyech, again, I know he had a good game, but if he still wants to play he doesn't really want to be here, off you go. We're not waiting on these guys. We're not kind of waiting, if that makes sense. We're not kind of debating whether, is this going to mess up the squad? Are we going to have the right backup? No, we've got the backups now. It doesn't matter. So
sorry, I'm sorry, but it sucks to not beat Chelsea, right? You were probably bantering, saying that our sugar daddy's gone, and now we have a even better sugar daddy. And we like to negotiate, and we negotiate and pay things properly to avoid FFP.
We haven't won anything yet. Let's not say he's a better sugar.
I'm just saying. He's spending money. He's spending more money. But Chris, you wanted to say something?
No, it's like with the whole Chelsea constraint on the defense and the attack. We obviously had to constrain on defense because we lost Rudiger and AC and all that, and we obviously need a new left back because obviously Alonso's pants and Chilwell's had a big injury, and now he's had another injury. But obviously, we need to look at that. And then a lot of people kept thinking we needed a midfield issue, but I honestly thought the Chelsea board and everything, even the Roman, even Todd Bowley, saw it. We need attacking issues. We have so many attacking issues because it's either we can't create and from the wings or whatever, we can't create from there. So obviously, they're not doing a good enough job or scoring. And then what's it called? Or if we do create a lot of chances, we end up missing a lot of them. So we couldn't really win. We just couldn't win in attacking issues because we can create, they miss. We don't create, nothing happens. So that's why I think they just gone for a new attack basically because they're shit. And now we're finally probably going to look at midfield this summer and everything. And hopefully we got a complete team and no injuries. Hopefully, well, we'll have a few. You can't escape injuries for sure. But yeah, I think that's how how they looked at it.
So yeah, boys, everyone in chat, thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Make sure you are smashing the like button. It's absolutely free to do so. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss when we have to move the stream over an hour or we're going to stream spontaneously in the week. All that stuff, you'll be notified. And then if you're watching this in the future, which some of you do, you like to enjoy it like a podcast, which thank you if you are doing that. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about everything we're saying and what you're excited about. But we touched upon it. Let's go ahead and discuss the next thing. This is what I'm also excited for. If I can just find it, here it is. Caicedo. Let's talk about Moises Caicedo. Chris might not like this one too much, but we'll talk about it.
Well, it's not like I don't like it.
I understand you have a preference, but we'll discuss.
Oh yeah, my plan B. Mm-hmm.
So right here, Chelsea Dodgers, CFC 365 official. Chelsea recently made an inquiry about Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo. Chelsea wants to gauge how much Brighton would sell for in January. His muted price from other sources sitting around 70 to 80 million pound mark. This is a few days ago. So now we bring you guys to more recent news. Chelsea are more likely to be one of the ones who meet Brighton's evaluation in January for Moises Caicedo instead of Liverpool. Brighton CEO Paul Barber says he understands if opportunities arrive. Caicedo himself doesn't have a sole preference despite the social media frenzy via a recent liked post on Liverpool. He'd be equally keen to reunite with Graham Potter or work under Jurgen Klopp. If Liverpool choose to progress anything, right now they haven't. And that's as of January 11th. More recent news on the 12th here. Graham Potter has prioritized signing a midfield, coming from Jacob Steinberg. Also reporting, Chelsea are now weighing up an official bid for Caicedo, who is more attainable than McAllister. Chris, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. PYS, Moises Caicedo would be an option for Chelsea in the next days. This was reported 2 days ago from Fabrizio Romano. Would not be surprised to see Chelsea attack for a midfielder soon. More reports right here from Simon Phillips. Chelsea will test the waters with the first bid within the next 48 hours for Moises Caicedo. They want to agree on a fee with Brighton first, then speak with Caicedo's new agents. And they look Caicedo's new agents then look to complete personal terms. This was yesterday. And as of right now, the latest that I have is this tweet right here. Chelsea's interest in Caicedo is concrete. Potter is a big fan. Of course he is. Let's see how much Chelsea want to bid for after the player they are interested in after spending big on Mudryk. And this was today reported from Fabrizio. So hopefully tomorrow we have a bid or something reported on Moises Caicedo. But Chris,
What?
Moises Caicedo, McAllister, are you upset that's not him or the other?
No. It's not like I'm like really upset. It's just like
Put you on the spot, Chris.
I think. Well, I just think McAllister's a better plan B from Enzo when we was actually looking at him. But I don't know if it's just too much. But what I like about it is that McAllister is not like in the 21 bracket. I think he's more getting to his prime age. He's 24, McAllister. I think 24, 25.
23 I think.
Pardon?
Yeah. He's 23 turning 24 around that, yeah.
I thought he's 24 or something at least. But I swear he is anyway. But anyway, he's like 24, I think, anyway. But like he's getting in that prime age as well. And he's having a really good season too. But so is, I guess, this player as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not like being trying to be ungrateful. I don't mind either, but I prefer to have McAllister in the team and having Caicedo. We're trying to buy the whole Brighton team by the looks of it. Who are we after next? Like in Brighton, are we after the goalkeeper or striker?
Well, we were after Trossard. We were after Sanchez, the goalkeeper, for a minute. I mean, Levi Cole was going to come back from that club. I think Levi Cole was on loan, right, guys? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, he's going to get him back. I don't know. There's other ones too. But the thing though with McAllister, Chris, that I feel like maybe you're missing out is that not even the age, but he's also not necessarily a true DM. Caicedo is a true DM. McAllister's an attacking midfielder that was adapted into the DM position. So I think, in my opinion, which I don't disagree with you necessarily. I would like either or. I would prefer Caicedo simply because Caicedo is a proper DM and he plays in that position regularly. So I would like someone who is comfortable in that position and is competent in that position.
I guess I've noticed McAllister a lot more when I've watched Brighton, because I barely watch Brighton as it is, but when I've watched him...
He was also in the World Cup, Chris. You know?
And the World Cup too, yes. I just noticed him more.
I agree with Chris when I think that McAllister overall as a footballer is better, but I don't think Caicedo is a plan B for Enzo. I think McAllister is a plan B for Enzo, and Caicedo is the partner to that other plan. Because profile-wise, Caicedo being a backup for Enzo makes absolutely no sense for me. They become two completely different players. You're just picking good players out of a hat at this point. So I think Caicedo is the profile I think we need right now. A player that can sit, that can play as a box-to-box and press. Someone that's technically secure, young.
I won't put it past it.
He ticks the boxes for a midfielder that I think we need right now, and he's been amazing this year. He's dunked on so many clubs. Like against Liverpool. Oh wow, he's just very, very, very good, and he's so young. He's like 20, isn't he? 20.
20 what? Caicedo?
Yeah, 21.
21.
Yeah, still unbelievable.
But there's like another midfielder, okay, who's a DM, who's 25, Ruben Neves. I really like Ruben Neves as well. I know we're not looking at anymore.
It depends how much he's going to cost, though, is the thing.
But surely he wouldn't cost more than 70 million.
I'd rather pay the 70 million for Caicedo now and run. I think Neves will be similar. He's not. I don't think he's good, if I'm being honest. No, I don't think he's as good as Caicedo.
Maybe I just watch him on his good days, because a lot of times I seem to watch him. He just does well.
I mean, if you want to get Neves and Caicedo, fair enough. But I don't think. I think Caicedo's price is only going to go up. I genuinely, if he continues to perform to the end of the season, you're looking at 90 million. Pay the 70 now and see what happens.
Yeah. No, they're all good players anyway to have.
What do you think about the Caicedo deal?
Also,
you know what kind of strikes me as surprising, guys, is the market, the value on these players. The market is really expensive. Caicedo, I did not expect to be anywhere upwards of like 80 million pounds. That's a lot, but I mean, I rate the player.
Centre back, I thought for 40 million, I didn't know, but he had a really good game, so it don't matter.
True. I mean,
buying
as long as
players
there's
at
a
high
plan
price.
and the scouting is actually working, which so far, I know it's too soon to speak, the January signings so far have looked really good. It looks like our scouting department's actually working and doing their job.
Even
But
Felix,
Scott, I
man.
didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's cool. Like I think it's a good signing. Reportedly as well. Again, if the report I read is to be believed, we want to get a fee agreed before his new agents take over, which means that if that is true, then you can expect sometime today Fabrizio to announce that we've agreed a deal with Brighton, because his new agents start tomorrow. But yeah, I think it is a good plan. I think he's a very good player. There are obviously like cheaper players you could go for, but again, if it's the player that they want, that these guys want, and it's the player that they think fits the best, just go and get him. Like there are, as I said, there are other guys you can get. You could get, for example, Kone from Gladbach. You could get that Thuram dude from Nice. You could get. I'm trying to think of other guys just like off the top of my head. There's probably a dude from like the Portuguese league or something you could get.
I mean, you could also look at Juve.
Scott, may I ask a question though? Do you think those guys stylistically kind of suit to play next to Caicedo? Like
no, because I think I agree with you in terms of I think the plan is to go Enzo and Caicedo as the two, and which means I think the plan is to have a DM, like a proper DM who's still good on the ball, but a proper DM, and then a guy next to him who is like more of the ball player, more of the progressor, which would be an Enzo. And all of the guys I just mentioned, like Thuram, Kone, all the guys like that, they are the DM in their team. Like they're the guys that clean up. Yes, they have certain qualities that mean they can do other things. Similarly to Caicedo, they can they're like, especially Thuram is very good at carrying the ball just because of his frame. Like because of his size and his frame, he is quite good at gliding past players and holding challenges off. But I think that's the plan. Because I don't see why you would end up having I also like Lavia might be another one. I think we still might get Lavia. He might just be then the bench option because you can't. Like it's about having a squad. And I think that might be something we explore for the summer as well. But yeah, I think that, and it's going to be Caicedo and Enzo, I think, or Caicedo and one other. I don't think it'll be Caicedo and Lavia. To me, they're just too stylistically similar. It could maybe work because Caicedo, for example, in the World Cup was the slightly further forward of the two midfielders. Like they made it work, but I don't think that works. If you're going to play three in midfield, then it depends on what you want to do. But if you're going to go two for like a 4-2-3-1, then I see it being Caicedo and Enzo. If it's a 4-3-3, I'm still seeing it being those two, but then maybe you could throw in like a Lavia, or you could throw in a I don't like an Nkunku if you want to play him slightly further back, or you could throw in like a Kone or something maybe,
or even Kovacic or whatever. It's like, I genuinely think if we get Caicedo and Lavia, I mean that means Kante and Jorginho both leave. I think
they're gone. I think at least one of them's gone anyway.
Yeah, I think Jorginho's gone. I think Kante might be more down to the wire, but I think I can see them both going, to be fair.
One thing I wanted to touch on, guys, is this might be my unpopular opinion here, but do you guys feel that if we were to get Caicedo, or let's just say Kone, or I mean, there's links now with Osimhen, if we were to get a good midfielder or a DM, do you think that possibly we can get away? Or would you be upset if this window we don't actually get a right back? Yes. Because the way I'm seeing it right now is that I think the fans have we all noticed that when Reece James isn't in this lineup, our form does drop considerably, our creativity drops considerably, and I've said this before. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that this club, the amount of quality players that we have, which now is questionable, but back then when I was saying it, the amount of quality players that we have, I find it really hard to believe that when a right back of all positions, a right back gets injured, we just looked absolutely terrible. And it's absolutely shambolic that we depend on one position to function as a team. Do you think it's possible that with the attackers being signed, with the midfielders now being linked, that maybe Vivel is trying to make it so that we have other creative outlets that aren't just right back. And so that maybe in the summer, because I'll be honest with you, the right back links that we have right now, I'm not very convinced on very many of them. I don't want to also like emergency buy and just get a right back. So it's a little bit of, weigh out your options, see where you're at with it. But do you guys think that maybe these signings can compensate in creativity in their set positions so that we don't have to rely on a right back?
Yes, but I also don't think Aspie as a backup can defend either, really. His legs don't really work.
True, Aspie is pretty problematic when it comes to being a backup.
I don't mind seeing the odd occasion of maybe someone having to fit in there that's not a right back, but it's not something you want. It's really not something you want. I agree with you in the sense of bar maybe Pedro Porro. I don't know if there's like many right backs.
Pedro Porro, there was links, yeah.
I don't know if, and he's had beef with Felix in the past, hasn't he, or some shit like that.
He slept with his girlfriend.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe
Or
not.
stole his girlfriend or something like that. I don't know. Something like that.
I don't like you enough to cause arguments. Juranovic or whatever his name is. I can't pronounce his name. I really can't.
Juranovic.
That seems to have gone away. I can't lie. That seems to have gone away completely.
Yeah, I saw him play for Celtic once in the World Cup. I don't really care about like. Still been linked to Matty Cash. Like it's fucking weird. I do agree with you in sometimes, like Marshall with like the panic buy and whatever, but we do need a right back.
Because I mean, these right backs that we're linked with, outside of Pedro Porro and Juranovic, I mean, maybe I'm just ignorant, right? They just don't strike me as strong competitive options for Reece James, or like, how like we were linked with Cucurella for Chilwell. That one was like, oh shit, like those two can actually compete for that position. Is Reece James really going to compete with I don't know who else we were linked with. I don't know. That's the point.
I will say let's be honest. Who can really compete with Reece James though? He's like one of the best right backs in the world when he plays.
True, but with injuries, there are going to be times where.
So you just want like a good right back who just fill in when he's injured.
Yeah,
even just that, but like I feel like we also need to stop relying on just a right back for having creativity. That is an issue with this team as well. We shouldn't be dropping this much when a right back of all positions is out with injury. And I think Scott, you can agree with that. Chris, all you guys.
The problem though with that is that like it's still so when you have a player
Aspie is a liability though. I agree with you on that.
100%.
When you have a player like Silva, who's obviously still amazing or still really good, but isn't, I wouldn't say not as athletic, but he can't, his legs are not what they used to be. I wouldn't say they've gone, but when you've got him that's going to probably play on the right side as well, you don't want a player like Aspie partnered with Silva. It's when you've got tricky wingers in the Premier League. There's so many tricky left wingers that are really quick and will do you for pace. It's such an important area, I think, that could really expose us at times. And I'm not saying there's nothing against Silva as such. It's more against Aspie. No offense to you, Aspie, but yeah, we need someone that can either defend, and he's good in the first phase of build-up. I don't really mind about creativity too much, but they've got to be comfortable on the ball and can defend.
Scott, with Caicedo coming into the club, you think we can get away with not getting a right back this January? Potentially coming to the club. I'm sorry, I should emphasize that.
I don't know. I think it depends. It depends on what the plan is for the club going forward. Because, I really don't know, because as I said, it really depends on what the club plan is. Because if the plan is, for example, to get what's his face, to get Caicedo, and you do go like a 4-3-3 or you go 4-2-3-1, and you get him to kind of cover if he plays on the right of the two or of the three, then it could maybe work if you can get him to kind of help cover Aspie, to cover his deficiencies. I think it could maybe work for the season. Also, I think as well is the other reason why I think it can work is, what is the aspirations for this season anyway? We might not be able to get a right back. I will say, I want one of a right back or a midfielder coming this window. Like, if we get one out of the two, I
100%.
think I'm happy. If we get both, I'm ecstatic. But I think if we get one out of the two, I'm happy. Like, I'd like to get a right back, but I also want to get the right back. Like, for example, if Porro becomes available, if that's something we can do, go and get him. Apart from that,
release clause, it's 35 mil.
it's 45 mil.
As of right now, it looks like
That's
he's
Euros as
working
well.
for
Oh,
Tottenham.
yeah, it's
Euros.
So I don't know.
So,
And I'd say we have a free run on him because I don't know whether City are going to do their buyback clause. Like, obviously, Tottenham want him, but we can like outbid Tottenham.
We can bully Tottenham.
If we want him, we'll get him over Tottenham.
True.
Yeah, and then I don't think City are going to do their buyback on him, so I think we're okay with that. So yeah, just like if the club wants him, go and get him. And I think there's a couple of other options you got Malo Gusto playing for Lyon right now would be a good option.
Oh, I love Gusto. Yeah,
Oh
brilliant.
yeah,
from
Malo
that-
Gusto. Yeah, I heard of him.
There's like apart from that, I don't know who else there is that you like just want to go and get. I think that
Yeah.
might be a position that you need to kind of scout a bit more, look at for the summer, and decide on a guy that's gonna
Yeah.
like work. But yeah, it would be slightly annoying, but it would not be that bad. I think if we didn't get right back, if we can find other ways to mitigate it. For example, I hate him playing right back. I don't care that he did well on yesterday or whatever it was. I hate him playing right back because I do not think it works long term. Chalobah can work there if you're going to do a way of, for example, having him invert so you kind of play as a 3 and have Cucurella push further forward. So it's kind of like a 3 in defense with Cucurella pushing slightly higher and you have him inverting. That could maybe work. Maybe. I'm not convinced, but it could maybe work. But I think there are ways you can kind of get past it. I think with the midfield, there's almost no way that you can kind of dress that up, make it look anyway good with what we've got going on now. Like, I think you need to just go and sort that out first.
Which is why I brought this up, because I feel like at the end of this window, I'm with you, Scott. I would be ecstatic if we get a competent right back, not just any right back. If we get a competent right back that's going to actually compete with Reece James. And I think overall, I think the biggest issue, I don't think the biggest issue is right back. I think the biggest issue is midfield. We've needed to really reinforce that midfield, and we've been long overdue to do that for a while now. Saul didn't work out. He didn't become a permanent signing. Zakaria could become a permanent signing. We haven't done a permanent signing in that midfield since Kovacic. So, yeah, exactly. So if we get the midfielder and just that, Caicedo particularly, I'm happy. And I think we can move into the summer and look for better targets for that right back position, because I want someone of the caliber, which I know we don't rate him right now. I know he hasn't been that great, but I want someone of the caliber of Cucurella. I think Cucurella will come good for Chelsea in the future. I really do. There's no way that player has a lot of potential. And Brighton's best player last season. So I'm not trying to believe that he's a shit player. No, we signed a shit player. Same with Koulibaly. I don't think he is either. But all right, on to the next topic that I want to talk about is we're talking about midfielders. Why not? Let's bring this guy up as well. Right here. Oh wow, it didn't save the whole thing. Okay, well, it was too much text, I guess. Well, hold on, I have it right here actually. There we go. Let's adjust this real quick.
Hey,
live technical difficulties. Why not? What's up? Talk to me. Work. There we go. I don't know why it didn't work before. Yes, let's talk about Laces Only, Vlahovic, my kind of freaking striker, and Osimhen. Let's load this up. What the hell? Okay, there we go. Sorry. All right. Anyways, we have David Ornstein reporting Chelsea have shown interest in Vlahovic and Osimhen, and midfield is now a priority after Mudryk. So David Ornstein reporting this. Listen, I like Vlahovic. I think his physicality, he's this type of stature of attacker or striker that I would want for this club. I think I would love to have Vlahovic in this club. I didn't realize how much of a beast he was until he joined Juve, which, mind you, he hasn't had as great of a season at Juve as he had in Fiorentina prior to that. But this is a player that Arsenal wanted. And if we can get him over them, Hey man, I'm all for it. Well, guys, your thoughts on and Osimhen too? Why not? I mean, I don't know much about Osimhen. I can't speak much on him. Maybe you guys know more about him than I do. But Vlahovic, do you guys entertain the idea of Vlahovic, or do you not rate
How
him?
much is he?
I don't know. It's probably going to be a hefty amount though.
Oh god.
Nah. Again, like this is nothing on either of those guys as players. I just don't want them because you're at that point you're clogging up the
True.
front line. Because like come the summer, I was wrong by the way. Depending on what happens with Aubameyang, come the summer you could have 6 strikers.
Oh
So
yeah.
you've got to
we
cut
had this
down.
2 years.
I'd say max 3.
Does someone want to send Josh the link? Because I don't send the link out. I would if I could. Josh.
I can try.
If someone wants to send it out to Josh, send it out to Josh. You can come on,
Josh.
Josh.
Josh on Twitter, right? It's the same picture.
Yeah, he is.
A few more Americans
yeah,
on the
like,
panel, anyways.
We're gonna have like 6 potential strikers. You've got to fit into 3. You don't need any more than 3, especially if you're playing a 1-striker formation. You don't need any more than 3. And it's like, how do you fit that into 3? Because you'd say, okay, Aubameyang's going. Cool, that's 5. I'd say, for me, I think Nkunku's going to be the striker. So he's definitely 1.
True.
But he's going to stay. That means if you get Vlahovic or Osimhen, they're number 2. So now you've got to somehow fit in that Fofana. You've got to fit Brozier and Havertz somehow into that as well. And like, as much as I want him gone, we're not getting rid of Havertz.
Do you think he's staying in the long run, Scott?
I don't think he's going in the summer. I'll put it this way. I think he will be gone at some point. He's not going in the summer. So then, like, how do you fit? Like, how do you then? So your then 3 strikers are Havertz, Vlahovic, and what's his name? Nkunku. And also, people are mentioning Felix can maybe play striker as well. Even then, again, I don't want him playing that. I want him playing.
I really don't want him playing striker either. Yeah.
I want him playing as. I'd rather play him as the 10. And
Yeah, there's someone to feed the striker. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what you then doing with like Fofana and Brozier? It's like you've already integrated both of them into the squad.
Mm-hmm.
They're guys I want to get game time. They're the people that you want to make the understudy, so give them game time off the bench. Like how you can't fit that many people into the starting lineup.
What about Lukaku? Scott, about him.
Lukaku, bro.
Oh yeah, he's coming back.
I just saw the comments say Lukaku.
He's coming back. He's coming back for
True.
a cup of tea and a biscuit, and he's fucking off again. That's all he's coming back for.
Probably. I hope.
Bowley's gonna stack him on
Inter talking about the Inter haven't decided still if they want to keep him yet.
Yeah,
because they don't need him. Because he's been shit and they don't need him. But yeah, like it doesn't mesh properly. Like it doesn't work. Like I like both those guys. Like I think they have their pros and cons. Also, the difficulty with getting Osimhen is trying to deal with De Laurentiis is just nuts. Like that's not happening at all. Like I don't see how it meshes at all. I don't see how you can work it together in a way that's coherent, gets every player happy, and makes it worthwhile. Like I'd rather you make it so. Say for example, Nkunku comes in, you go cool. He's your guy. You're number 9. You then make the 2 guys behind him, like Havertz, because he can just hold bench and who cares, and one of Fofana or Brozier because then they can learn.
Carlito, you enjoying your Lucky Charms there?
Oh no, man, Golden Grams, bro.
How did I know it was cereal?
Oh, I'm murdering this ball too, bro. I'm gonna sip the milk and everything. Like my parents used to make me do. You gotta finish that ball.
Mine used to try that as well, but I hate milk. I can't stand it.
Yeah, but if it was Cocoa Crisp, brother, you got
It's chocolate.
Yeah, yeah, bro.
That's the only way I can stand it.
Here's my issue because I like what Scott said. And you know we do have other forwards. Like Brozier, we're gonna keep him. He's got like an 8-year deal, just like Mudryk. Mudryk's gonna be here for 3 presidencies. So one of the issues is that I look at it and I say, okay, we just bought Mudryk. He's gonna be here forever. He's gonna be an unbelievable player, by the way. And Kuku's coming in. He could play 5 different positions, but I prefer him to play the Roberto Firmino role. And then you got we might be buying Madueke, right? I mean, if Felix balls, we're keeping him, no doubt. And then, like Scott said, we're not getting rid of Havertz. People think that we're getting rid of Havertz. That's wishful thinking. Graham Potter likes him, so you guys can forget it.
I think he likes the club too, by the way.
Havertz. Dude, Kai, you guys all have him so wrong. He's just this like mellow German guy. He's not an asshole, and he's been put in bad
Cares about
situations.
his donkeys.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if he's an asshole or not. It's just he's not consistent for us.
Okay, I understand that, but the people that are playing around him have not been consistent
Costa
in
was an
role
asshole.
and form either.
Listen,
Role
this
and
might be a
form.
biased take, but I think he's more willing to stay at Chelsea than Mason Mount is.
100%. 100%.
You reckon?
So, yeah. So Marshall, here's my overarching point, and that is this.
Yes.
You guys ever watch Vlahovic play? He's a big guy, and
Bases only, baby.
he's not
Peter Drogba
very
stats.
fast, and he's very left-footed.
Give me the
And that kind
physicality
of
and
reminds
just
me
shoot
of
it.
another player. And I have to say, I would so much rather have a mobile, two-footed, get in between the lines type striker like Nkunku or even Kai up there with obviously João Felix playing attacking mid. Like, nah, man, I want mobile guys.
But you know
Vlahovic is
what,
an
though?
old school player. He's an old school forward.
I like what you're saying, right? And he is an old school player, but so is Giroud, and we are crying to have a Giroud right now, right? We would love to have a Giroud to a certain extent, but I think touching on what Scott said earlier, and look, I agree with what Scott's saying. I don't think it would be very optimal to just go for Vlahovic now. I think that might be, if anything, it could be a summer signing after we sell away some of these players, which we will discuss in a minute. But I think having a utility of players, a toolbox of players, different styles that suit different types of formations and tactics that you may want to do might actually be useful to Graham Potter. So, I mean, if you look at Brighton, for example, he had Mopé, he had Welbeck, he had Trossard that he can move up there, all different styles of players that he... Gross as well, I think he played up front a few times. Yeah, true. So he had all different types of like players, different styles of strikers per se that he could use to fit whatever style or tactic he wanted to play, depending on who the opposition was. So Vlahovic, like you said, very much a very traditional striker. Reminds me a lot of the way how Drogba used to play. Just strike the ball, take a shot. You never know, it might go in. I like that. I like that about him. There's a lot of power in the shot too. I like those kind of strikers that have just shoot the damn ball, shoot it on target, and make it a powerful damn shot. So I like Vlahovic. If he comes this, I don't think it's gonna be this January window, but if he comes in the summer, mark my words, guys, he's gonna cook.
Yeah, but Marshall, I'm not saying he's a bad player. Like I've watched Juventus. Like I watched him because I love Chiesa. And so I'm happy to see him back, even though they got the brakes beat off them by Napoli the other day. Victor Osimhen, by the way, guys, forget it. He ain't coming. That's the best team in the world right now. Why would ADL ever sell him? No way. But Vlahovic, dude, the problem is the speed. Like, as primitive as that sounds, I want fast players. Mudryk, by the way, is doing training with his personal trainer so he can run 40 40 kilometers per hour. He wants to hit the 40 kilometers per hour sprint speed. Like that's like how much he's prioritizing speed. And Nkunku is very fast. João Felix obviously quick. Havertz is actually surprisingly fast. Like, I want fast players on top of the fact that these guys are all very good at combining. They're all skilled. Mudryk is going to surprise the hell out of a lot of people.
For the silly Americans like me, 40 kilometers is 24 miles an hour.
It's extremely fast. That's Michael Johnson.
I just had to look
fast.
it up.
That is Michael Johnson fast.
That is really fast.
And so, the Vlahovic thing, I know that we played really well with Giroud, but that's because Havertz was playing with him and Willian, and those guys wanted to ping off a big guy. But these guys, man, I just want to play with a faster group. Now, look, if Vlahovic comes, of course I'll cheer for him. But we have a lot of strikers already. Datro Fofana, another fast player. We just bought him. Broja, we just extended him. Like, we just made him a permanent player. I don't know, man. I mean, all these reports about like giving up on Sterling already. Like, I don't know if we should be doing
way too soon to give up on Sterling.
Way too soon.
Because Sterling as well, he's played a lot of wing back as well this season, and that's not his like right position where he should be playing. Because
he's been playing
he likes
right
to be
wing
in the
as
box.
well.
Yeah, and Chris,
and
the other
he
thing
likes
is
to
that,
be in the box a lot though.
Chris, like, the other thing is that everybody's saying Havertz is this and that. where has his supporting cast been consistent? And I'm not talking about form. I'm talking about, has his supporting cast been consistent? Like, has he played with people enough? Like Mudryk is going to come in, and Mudryk is going to play with him, right? They're probably going to get a run of like 6 or 7 games together, and then Felix in 2 games is going to come in, and they're going to get a run of 5 or 6 games together. That is really important. Like, you remember when Liverpool was banging, right? They never changed their front three. They played that front three in cup games. They never changed it. It was Mane, it was Roberto Firmino, and it was Salah. They never changed
Perfect
it.
link.
And it was in 2019. In 2019, they were a mile ahead of every other team in Europe. Every team in Europe. And that's because they always played together. So, man, I have to say, like, the Havertz thing, I consider him a good player. I know Marshall does too. But if his supporting cast is consistent, just in starting, right? If Mudryk is there and he's playing, if João Felix is there and he's playing with Kai, then I will judge him. But until he gets consistency from the lineup, I mean, like, it's every game, it's something different. And I don't know how you can execute your patterns and get your chemistry down if it's always a different lineup.
True. I mean, on the casting role, let's go ahead and bring up this topic here. Potential attackers that may be leaving in January, maybe in the summer.
Marshall.
We'll see. But let's go ahead and bring up Aubameyang and Ziyech. So as of recently, we have news here. I think this is all from Fabrizio. I'm not sure. Let me just double check. Yeah, it is Fabrizio. Okay. Aubameyang can't play in any other European club this second half of the season. For Ziyech, they will consider permanent bids, but it's still quiet as of now. So I was worried about the Ziyech situation in the sense that I did not hear anything from AC Milan or Ajax in recent days. This PSV move could potentially work out. I'm not saying there's any links between Ziyech and PSV, but if he wants to go back to Ajax, maybe there's a chance he wants to go back to the Eredivisie, and maybe there's like some type of swap deal we can do with Madueke, right? I forgot his name.
Madueke.
I'm sorry. Madueke, thank you so much, Scott. But Oba is a very interesting situation, and I'm gonna bring some bias into this one. What do you guys think of potentially saving Frank Kessie from the grasp of Barcelona and sending Aubameyang the other way? Listen, I rate Frank Kessie. There we go. Scott knows football. Scott knows football. What about
the biggest
you,
thing
Carlito?
though,
He's coming right back. Okay.
I'll say the biggest thing on the Aubameyang thing, he's not leaving until one of Kessie or Depay leaves. Like, until one of them leaves, he's not leaving Chelsea Football Club.
Bring me Kessie.
Like, they can't afford to get him. They can't afford to.
They can't hurt getting him, no, Marshall.
Yeah, they can't afford to get him right now. Like, just with whoever else they got. To be fair, Depay might be leaving, might be going to Atletico Madrid. Those talks are still ongoing. Yeah, until those happen, can't do anything. On the Ziyech thing, again, we just need interest. Reportedly, Newcastle were interested, and in my opinion, just get him gone as soon as possible. Like, I think I won't say everything that's gone wrong in his career is his fault. I think he is labelled as I think he's labelled as certain things that he's not. I don't think he is lazy. I think he gets labelled as that because he hasn't got the best body language. I don't think he's lazy at all. I think he does work hard. I do think he actually brings some level of creativity to this forward line, but I don't think he's going to end up being able to turn around his Chelsea career, and I think it's better to cut ties now rather than try and prolong it any further. But yeah, like I just think these guys need to go. Like, the Aubameyang signing in general was such a pointless signing. It's the only signing of the summer window I vehemently will say was a waste of time. Like, every other signing, I think you can see like can come good if it hasn't already. But here's the one signing. It was a waste of time. It was a complete waste of time.
I think that one was. I think you probably wouldn't say that if Tuchel had stayed, because it seemed like that was.
Even if Tuchel had stayed, like, I think it was a waste of time regardless. Bro. I was on the thing of like I don't want him because it's a waste of time because we didn't have creators then. We don't have creators now. Well, we might do now with Mudryk.
Oh, so you had rather just not gone for anyone at all?
I know I wanted a striker, but I wanted Tony. I wanted a striker that had some build-up. Basically, was a better version of what Havertz is offering us, where his hold-up play was better, his link-up play was better, and he could score goals with limited service, which Tony can do. Okay. Like, Aubameyang needs a lot of service. We already saw that from Arsenal. He's not a guy that's going to score like with a couple of chances here or there. He also needs service because he's a type that wants to run in behind. He's not going to come. I mean, he has come a lot shorter for the ball with us than I thought he would, and his link-up play's actually been better for us than I thought it would. It was just a waste. I thought it was a waste of a signing when we were linked. I thought it was a waste of a signing when we signed him, and I still think it's a waste of a signing. And as it's looking, that seems to have been true.
Scott, aren't you a little worried that Ivan Toney is not going to be available?
Oh, Tony, I still want Tony, but I obviously understand he can't get that. This is why I think I would say if there was a position available up front, I'm 100% taking the two people we were just talking about. I'm 100% taking either Vlahovic or Osimhen if there's a position up front that's available. I just don't see one that's available because I also don't think even if you move like Nkunku back into number 10 to get a position available, I then think you're clogging up the positions behind the striker. So either way, we're clogging up a position. So
yeah.
Question for you guys, just a general question for my own knowledge. Has Kessie not been playing for Barcelona due to injury this season, or is he just not rated by Xavi?
It's all right. So it's both. He had an injury early, but Xavi's preferred lineup. There's always just going to be a combination of three of these five players. So he's going to go with
Pedri and Gavi, obviously.
Yeah, and then Busquets has actually surprisingly gotten a lot of game time, and then Frankie de Jong is the other one. So, like those guys, they always play. And if it's all four of them, then Gavi also plays wing, which he did yesterday in El Clasico, and it's sensational. Yeah, but no, Kessie, he is quite frankly the odd man out.
Yeah. I mean, I've always rated this guy since Milan. I wanted him because I see him as being a more a more physical version of Conte in a sense. Obviously not of the same caliber, but he can at least attack as well.
He's bigger.
He's bigger. He's tougher. He would fit right into the Premier League when it comes to physicality.
He's played all of 2 matches this season.
Yeah, I mean, are you guys saying that you'd want him at Chelsea?
Yeah, 100%.
I am saying I would send Oba back to Barca and have Kessie come to us.
Isn't he? It's like a triple registration thing. I don't even think he can.
No,
Kessie
in an
can.
ideal world, though.
Aubameyang can. Like the way us and Barca are the only two clubs that Aubameyang could play for.
Okay.
That's why the whole like Barcelona thing has come about because Madrid want him as well, Atletico, but he wouldn't be able to play for them. He could sign for them, he just wouldn't be able to play. He'd literally be there for vibes and training. Basically, what he's at.
Well, I mean, there's the other one that Barcelona's looking to offload it's either Rafinha or
true. Someone brought it up.
The other one is Ferran Torres, who just left England. Now, he wants to come back? Okay. And Barcelona's stuck at $100 million price tag on Rafinha. So that's tough shit, Arsenal. Tough shit. If you're looking to subsidize your loss of Mudryk with another player, you want to pay $100 million for Rafinha, who is nowhere near as good as Mudryk? Go right ahead, man. Jeez.
Also, I was slightly wrong on Kessie. He's played 17 games this season, but like
Nketiah
started to.
No, sorry.
Kessie.
He's played 17 games, but it's just nothing minutes. Like,
he does. Well, he doesn't start games in La Liga. Like
I was gonna say he started 3 La Liga games all season.
He is not there. He's not a Xavi guy. I don't even know why Xavi would want a player like that.
No, it made sense. I can't lie. The signing made sense. Like at the time,
they just wanted everyone at the time, though.
Yeah, I think that was more of a scattershot thing.
Depending on what the plan was going forward, it made sense. But then we saw how much Gavi and Pedri have, like how much leaps and bounds they've made this season,
they've improved
and the fact that Busquets is still getting played as much as he is, and the fact like De Jong didn't leave. I think that's the thing. I think if certain things had happened, he'd have had a lot more game time. Like if Busquets or De Jong had left, I think he would have got a lot more game time. And I think if Gavi especially hadn't developed as much as he had this season, he'd have got a lot more game time. But it's not worked out at all.
Hey, Marshall,
also,
you think
Kessie can play as a CDM, but he's more of a box to box.
Yeah,
what were you gonna say?
Are you surprised? Are we not surprised? Do you wonder if Leeds has gotten any money from Barcelona yet?
That thought never occurred to me. I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a big chance they haven't yet.
I imagine they must have done, otherwise they would have been taken
something. Some payment of sorts. They probably paid in installments, obviously. I don't think Barcelona paid it all up front. So they probably got like
no way they paid it up front. No way. Well, man, they've been told they have to sell 3 players.
Well, you know what? I don't feel bad for Barcelona.
Oh, no, neither do I.
They're taking Dembele, they took Koundé, they took Rafinha, and you know what? Look at where they are now. So get out of here, Barcelona. But on to the next topic I want to talk about, guys. We brought it up a few times. People in the chat have been saying it, but I hate to burst your bubble. He's probably here to stay. So anyways, let's talk about Pulisic. So we got right here.
What?
Adam Newson reporting Graham Potter on Christian Pulisic's future. No chance of him leaving. No, he will be out past that. He will be out past that. And there was never any consideration about him leaving anyways. He is a couple of months out. Potter has confirmed. This was reported the 13th of January. Yeah. So pretty much, yeah, it looks like, I'm not going to lie. It looks like Potter was actually favoring Pulisic for a bit, playing him on the left, putting Sterling on the right. And I'm not going to lie, Pulisic hasn't been looking that bad in the recent performances up to the injury. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, he's injury prone, all this and that. Like, I get it. He was with a question mark on that one, because since this injury that just happened, he had 13 months gone without an injury. You saw in the World Cup, he took a huge blow that, regardless of the fact, still continued to play the next game. Didn't really take him away from that any other day under the Lampard regime, under early Tuchel, if Pulisic takes that impact, he's out for weeks. I think he has improved on his physicality, or not his physicality, but his fitness overall to avoid getting as many injuries. And I could say, and I could argue that maybe the reason he got injured this time around is because of the medical crisis that we have going on in the team. Now, if he stays or if he goes, it's for me. But at least he hasn't been shit. So I don't know what you guys think about this. I think there's validity to this. I think Graham Potter actually does like Pulisic, and Pulisic doesn't mind staying at Chelsea as long as he gets playtime, which is his biggest gripe with the whole situation that happened under Tuchel.
Well,
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head of how it is for me. Like, whether he leaves or goes, I'm kind of like, eh. Like, I don't really rate him as a player. Like, I'm not his biggest fan. But, like, I get it. Like, realistically speaking, you look at it when everyone's fit, he's probably the backup to the left wing, which is like, who like, if he leaves, what's your plan then? You have Sterling be the starter as the right winger and the backup at left wing. That doesn't really make sense. Because then if he gets injured or he needs a rest, what's your plan for like a backup for left wing? Like, you don't really have one. So like, I get it. Plus as well, you can rotate him and Mudryk in and out depending on form and whatnot. So I do get it. Right, there's other guys we need to get rid of first before him. There's other more pressing matters, you know, get rid of Aubameyang, get rid of Ziyech, get rid of Mount, get rid of like the other guys. So yeah, like, I'm not massively annoyed. Like, it is what it is. I think in a year or two he's gone anyway. So it is what it is.
Possibly.
So yeah. I got to ask you, Marshall. I mean, do you think, number one, how does he see himself? Because that's what I want to know. I want to know how he sees himself as a player, and I think he sees himself as a starter on a top team. We just paid $100 million for a new left forward. $100 million. If you don't think Mudryk is going to start immediately, you're crazy. And the other thing is that Pulisic, man, I mean, I don't know how many times before the World Cup and then during the World Cup that he has intimated that he's leaving. He asked to leave before the World Cup. He asked to leave. So I don't think it would be stupid for Chelsea to let him run down his contract and then go for free in 17 months. I want some money for him. If we're going to spend all this money, well, we need to bring some back too. Like, we need to be selling or considering selling Ziyech to Newcastle. We need to be considering selling Gallaghar to Crystal Palace. We need to start doing these things because we're going to have, like Graham Potter said yesterday, we're going to start having 30 players on this roster with a lot of redundancies. Yeah, well, yeah, even more.
We've got
right? A lot of redundancies.
We don't want to blow this squad again.
Sorry to interrupt, but I saw it on, I think, the Sky Sports podcast earlier. We have 32 players in this squad.
That is 8 to 10 too many. That is too many players.
But guys, what's to say that like the likes of Mudryk, the likes of Fofana, Andre Santos, the youngsters don't go out on loan in this window?
Mudryk Mudryk.
I can't like
no way.
the
Yeah,
only
Mudryk-
the only guy I think that goes on loan, and it really depends on the other signings we make in that position, is
Fofana.
Santos.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay.
Fofana, we've already included and have given him minutes, and obviously we don't know the status of Broja's injury. Plus, I can't lie, again in attack, like what's your plan for the backup? Like again, is you just have Havertz and then Fofana? Like I just don't see it happening. Santos is the only one. Like apart
We
from that,
also
I don't
have a
see
lot of
any young
injuries
guys.
too. When you think about
I also don't see the young guys we're getting in going out on loan, because also as well, these guys have had minutes. Like unless you're sending them to like a League One team, a decent League One team, like basically to a decent team in a top 5 league, what's the point of loaning them out?
Yeah, Harvey Vale just came back today because he wasn't playing.
He's played like 3 games on loan, by the way.
Yeah, he just came back because
And the other
It
dude
wasn't
we sent,
working out.
Simons, played like 2, and 1 was in the FA Cup the other day.
yeah.
Santos is a box to box, I believe. Ray Allen. Go
He's a
ahead,
midfielder.
Chris.
I don't exactly know
Andre
what type of
Santos,
midfielder.
he's really good. He's in Brazil right now playing for the U20s.
I don't know what type of midfielder he is, but he's definitely a midfielder.
He's good.
I swear I kept hearing last season like people propping up Harvey Vale actually.
Oh, he's a good player, but
He
like
is
this is the
good.
problem. This is the problem that you can have when you don't think your loan moves through. Like if I mentioned this on a stream, actually a different stream, like as this is slightly off topic or quite off topic, but our loans this season, go and look at the loans we've got right now. At least half of them are doing terrible. Like not playing, or they're in shit form.
Do you think
Like,
it was just for the sake of like trying to get Deadwood out and trying to make up
Some
some
of them are
money?
Deadwood. Some of them are 100% Deadwood, but like a lot of them are decent players that could, in some positions, have a future at the football club, depending on certain things. But it's like you've got, like, for example, we've got like Baxter, who's been at Hull now 3 years, and they brought someone else in. He doesn't start. Like he doesn't start for them in goal. You've got Vale, and actually I don't think he starts. I might be wrong, or did he just not start the FA Cup? That might be wrong. But like Vale never started. Simon's never started. You've got like I can't remember who else that I saw.
Amplitude's in the Italian league. I haven't
He's
watched
doing. Like,
him.
he's one of the ones that's doing well, but there's some of these
Is he
that
doing
just
well?
aren't
Oh, I'm
doing
happy.
well. But you know, on the I can't remember what we're talking about. But yeah, like I just think that it works in terms of the Pulisic thing. I just think it's him saying's fine. Like he will leave at some point, because at the end of the day, I don't think he's good enough. He's not progressing really, and I don't think he is going to be a guy that gets us to where we want to go. But I think right now, it's like he's not the most pressing matter we have at this football club. Like,
How much can he sell us for? I reckon 30 million.
yeah,
Exactly
something like
what
that.
he's
Million for
worth.
Pulisic.
He is worth
Yeah,
30,
because-
he is worth 38 million euros. That is his market value as a
Wow.
Transfer market.
yes.
Yeah. I think he's around 30 million. Just because, yeah, he can be a good player on his day, obviously. And his t-shirt sales, like he's got a huge fan base in America. No matter like everybody in America likes him because he's like their star boy, right? Like so.
He's not
I'm
the
not
best
saying-
player on America.
I'm not saying
I'm
you
saying
guys are
I'm
gonna
laughing
buy.
at the comment here.
I'm not saying like you guys are gonna like go buy his shirts like wherever he goes, but I reckon there will be still like a lot of fans will go follow him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't know if Chelsea wants the distraction anymore. Seriously. It's like,
I could see it, but he's not a distraction if he plays. If he plays, then you have a happy Pulisic.
oh,
and-
yeah, okay. Okay.
That's what I mean.
No, I know, but like, isn't that a
He just
ridiculous
has to stay
thing?
fit.
Isn't that a
Yeah,
ridiculous
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
I don't think he's
Same thing
good
with
enough to
Lukaku and
start
not
anyway.
even Lukaku, but
I don't
Go ahead,
think
Chris.
I don't think Pulisic's good enough to start purely for the reason is because he
he was starting prior to the injury.
No. The purely reason when he finally gets his chance and he's actually getting a run of form games, look what happens. He gets injured every time. I feel like now. Like,
Chris, you know that's not true.
I
You
know
that's
it's not true.
entirely true.
I won't lie. We don't
I'm
actually have any
70%
basis.
thinking that like that.
We don't
happens.
have any basis either way on that, because like the runner games he's been starting now is the first like proper runner games I can remember he's had in a good long while.
Yeah.
Like
And
there's actually no basis either way as far as I can remember, like whether that's true or not true. Like
I just have that feeling every time
You
he's
get
got
games.
like a run of games, he's got to get injured. Like a good chance of getting injured. I'm not saying it's always gonna happen, but
Yeah.
a good chance.
Just as a side note, Wesley Fofana is back at training.
That's
saw
all
that.
good.
I honestly, of all the players, I want to see him play the most. Like I'm actually the most excited to watch him play.
Yeah, maybe Silva can have a
Yeah,
rest.
I mean, him and Body Shealy, I think are going to be the guys. in like a year or two. I think they're going to be the two guys. But the other one is that Moises Caicedo has changed representation. And his new agent.
Josh was saying his new agent's coming in 2 days.
And this is so when we had Ben Jacobs on 2 weeks ago, he kept saying this over and over again. He kept saying Moises Caicedo, the 18th of January. And all of the reports are now lining up where he's got his new agent that's being announced on the 18th of January, where they want to, basically change the trajectory of his career. That's why you switch agents. And it just seems as though Chelsea, between now and Wednesday, is going to put in a bid. They want £70 million. We want to pay 60. Meet in the middle. I think this deal is going to get done. I absolutely think it's going to get done.
This is one of the things that frustrates me about the fan base sometimes. You take these key words, these trigger words, these I don't know what the word I'm trying to look for is, and you just repeat them without any actual basis, without you actually believing them. Buzzwords.
Yeah, buzzwords.
It's just. Can you really say this? He's supposed to spend half the season in the hospital. It's been almost. Well, he got injured the beginning of last season, came back in December, and hasn't been injured since. Even though he took a huge shot to the nuts in the fucking World Cup, still came back and played. So I'm just saying, is he past the injury-prone phase? It's possible. Maybe he looked into his fitness. Maybe he's improved on the injury proneness. We don't really know, but to say he's an injury-prone player, bring it up again after he got injured during an injury crisis.
Marshall, can I push? I know what you're saying, and a lot of fans, especially British fans, they'll use words like disgrace.
Hey.
Hold on. Hear me out.
Fans.
They'll say words like disgrace and rubbish. But what happens when you actually have a situation where someone is a disgrace? What word are you going to use? Because disgrace is a very strong word.
I don't call him disgraced.
Yeah, no. My Christian Pulisic's major injury was his last one was he came back.
It's been
Halloween of 2021. So
I was going to say it was the ankle injury, wasn't it?
But under Tuchel, we can. I think we can all agree he barely got a run of games.
So this is the thing. This is what I'm getting at, Chris. Is that it wasn't injuries that have hampered him the last year. It's that he either wasn't playing or he was playing poorly, and he wasn't playing enough to get out of the funk and become consistent. Yeah. So before it was injured, and then it became a string of games where he didn't start, or if he did start or did play, he would miss sitters. That was his injury last season. It wasn't a physical one, it was a mental one. He kept missing goals right in the 18, easy ones. And Tuchel basically was just done with him.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
guys,
so you can't
real quick, I'm going to address this real quick before you go, Scott. There are a set of rules that you have to follow when you enter the chat and you enter our stream. And one of the very first one in capital letters says no xenophobic. So please, if you have anything to say because I'm an American or because Carlito's an American, shut the fuck up and leave my channel. Seriously.
Marshall. He was asking for a link.
I know. No. Look at what he said afterwards.
Okay? I know, yeah. He's got hurt. I said, don't think so.
I'm just saying, just because we're Americans doesn't mean we have stupid opinions on sports. We know what we're talking about to a certain extent. And for fuck's sake, you're on a channel called Casually FC. Casually. I don't claim to be a football expert. I don't claim to be a Chelsea expert. In fact, I learned a lot about Chelsea just off of these conversations that I've missed in a long time that I've missed out on Chelsea. But read the damn rules before you enter the chat. You get a warning. Next time, you're getting banned. Anyway,
Marshall,
Scott,
how funny is this? You were timed out for 300 seconds. I love it.
Okay. I can't do it.
I'm with you, dude. Hey, guys, this xenophobia stuff, I know more than anyone listening. So fuck you for thinking that just because I'm an American that I'm an ignorant piece of shit. I'm not.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not cool. I'm tired of it. I get it on other channels. I'm not having it on my platform.
I'm not having it either.
I can't lie. Most of the dumbest shit I hear from Chelsea fans are from the match going quote unquote proper Chelsea fans.
Oh yeah. They're all loaded.
Fucking minerals, bruv.
Not even. Oh, have you seen, by the way, that he's beefing Bowley now or some bollocks?
Probably.
Is he really?
Yeah.
No, Scott.
I heard because he got upset
Scott,
he couldn't get on the Twitter space.
He was begging Connor Brown to get onto the space. He was begging
Yes, he was.
for it.
He's
And
off his
then Bowley
clout.
liked
He's
some
off his
slander of
clout.
Mason Mount. Mason Mount had some slander, a joke about him.
Yeah, he
and,
liked to tweet like taking the piss out of Mount.
That is
Yeah.
so
Quite
funny.
He
That is
deleted
so
that.
funny.
Well, I got rid of it.
But yeah, like the match going fans genuinely are a bunch of wankers. Like not all of them actually. That's
No, not
generalization.
all.
A
yeah.
decent amount of match going fans are a bunch of wankers. Like, they don't know
I can't argue.
Let's go backstage, bruv.
Also, hold
Let's
on.
go backstage
But,
then, yeah?
also-
We'll go backstage.
To add on to it, I wasn't defending Pulisic staying at the club 2-3
No.
months ago. I wanted him out. So let's have it right, okay?
Let's have it right.
It wasn't until he
Let's have it
played
right.
well in the World Cup and he played well when he came back from the World Cup for Chelsea that I started saying like, okay, maybe Pulisic can stay. Like I started to turn a little bit because he started showing improvement. So listen, I just keep it factual here. I keep it unbiased. I keep it impartial because at the end of the day, football is a sport where you look at the big picture, not just a single game. So
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I mean, Marshall, when I first joined you guys every once in a while, you were shitting on Pulisic. I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit, an
probably.
American not liking Pulisic. This is hilarious.
no, because I
guys,
was
get
mad
outta
at that
here.
interview. That
Oh,
interview was
yeah.
fucking annoying. It was
And-
out of
and how
nowhere.
about
He
the
had no
novel,
right
huh?
to say that shit. And to this day, like if he still has that attitude, I don't think I want him in the team where he thinks he knows better
All right,
than the
I've already
manager.
said, like when it comes to him as a person, he can fuck himself. Like he comes across as incredibly arrogant. But at the end of the day, if he performs at Chelsea Football Club, I couldn't give a fuck. We've had some horrible people at Chelsea Football Club. We've had a racist at Chelsea Football Club. We still chanted his name.
Dude, we had a murderer. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
No, we did.
Real. We did.
And you know what? Sometimes when I see Chelsea play like shit, like against Fulham, I kind of miss that murderer. I'm
Oh,
not gonna lie.
no!
I know. I'm sorry. Sometimes you're just so
Marshall,
bad, you gotta take back.
I need assistance on getting a soundboard over to Worldwide Chelsea. I need access to a
All
soundboard.
right, well, we'll talk backstage, man. We'll
Let's
talk
go backstage then, yeah?
Um,
We'll go backstage.
Let's go ahead and continue discussing the few more topics we have to discuss. We touched upon it. Let's go ahead and bring it up again. Let's talk about Conor
These are some
Gallagher
big
and
ears,
him.
man. They're just standing out for me.
Anyways, let's talk about Dumbo over
Who?
here, okay?
Who?
Yeah.
So Crystal Palace will make one final bid for Conor Gallagher before January's window shuts. Eagles boss Patrick Vieira wants his former Lone Star back. And this is from Reluctant Nico. I don't know if he's reliable, but I think this is there's a lot of basis on this one. Gallagher is still committed to making it at his boyhood club, and that may be the biggest obstacle to progress for Palace. Vieira wants an extra midfielder, and if Gallagher says no, then he may have to go elsewhere and the door closes. So listen, I mean, he played well for Crystal Palace. I wanted him as a result of that. I was sold a dream. I'm not going to lie. I thought he would come in, take Mason Mount's position and play better than Mason Mount because I thought he was a better version of Mason Mount. But outside of the first Crystal Palace game and this one, I can't say he
doesn't
really
perform.
played very well. He has a horrible touch. Like I thought Timo had Timo did have the worst.
We
but
can never
his
let
touch is
Timo die,
absolutely
man.
terrible.
Chris, is this a
No,
person
but
talking
like-
about having big hips? Connor?
Big hits,
What?
Connor.
Big ears.
Oh,
Big
yeah,
ears.
dude. Those are
Big
those are
hips.
wings. Those are like big hips. Oh, bro, I'm surprised Connor doesn't just fly away. My God.
And he does have. I never noticed it, but he
I
does
didn't
have really
notice
big
until
ears.
that first
Well, he has his
picture.
long hair. It always
covers
covers.
them. He
Yeah.
covers
Yeah.
them.
But what do you guys think of sending off? I mean, I'm sure you guys already know, but maybe some of you have some reluctancy towards it. What do you guys think
No.
about sending off Conor
Oh,
Gallagher?
gladly. I'd pack his bags tomorrow. I'd drive him.
I
I'd
think
drive
Crystal
him.
Palace would be a good fit for him.
Bro, just anywhere that's not here. Like I know he had a good game the other day.
That was
Against
an
Palace.
audition. That
But,
was an
like-
audition, Scott.
The problem I have with Gallagher is like he just doesn't fit at all.
Yeah.
And unless he's going to drastically change and improve his game, I just don't see how he fits. And he can always improve. Like he absolutely can improve and change certain things. But we said the same thing about Mount, and he hasn't improved in 4 years. And it's just Yeah, he just doesn't have certain things. Like, it's not even just his touch. His touch is okay sometimes. That's not necessarily a bad thing. He has the same trait Mount does, where he just wants to run into cul-de-sacs for no reason.
And dropping the ban.
Cool.
Did you guys do it already?
Yeah.
Oh, someone beat me to
Cool.
it. Thanks.
But like, yeah, he has the same thing Mount does, where he just runs into cul-de-sacs for no reason.
Am I
He has
reading
this,
this
like-
correctly, Marshall? Jesus Christ.
He's not banned. What the fuck?
How is he still commenting? Can
Yeah, what the
can one of the mods ban him, please?
I'm gonna
Yes.
try.
Okay,
I
well.
can't find him.
You can find him.
Yeah,
Invisible
just-
enemy. Go ahead.
Whew.
But yeah, like, it's I just want him gone. Like, he just doesn't fit at all. Like, at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
he just
it's
doesn't fit at
unfortunate
all.
because I really did think he would, because he has a very, I don't know, he plays in the same position that Mason Mount does. Well, in Palace he was. He plays like almost that cam position, and I was really hoping that he provides. He has a similar like energy and running about to him. Like we always say, we make the jokes. He's Super Saiyan Mount, blonde Mount, yellow Mount, like whatever you want to
There is
call him.
one person
What I will
called
say,
that.
actually, that's a good point on the Mount thing. Is I will say this much: is I'm 100%. If it's him or Mount, I'm getting rid of Mount before him. He's been way more effective
Yes.
than Mount this season.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Has he
he has
though?
been way more effective. Yeah, he's been. Go and look at his minutes played and like what he does in comparison to like if you look at like the statistical metrics, even if you look on the ball for the most part, like they play very similar. But there's certain things he does. Like his weight of pass is so much better than Mount's most of the time. His like vision of picking a pass again most of the time is better than Mount's. Like yeah, and again like there's certain things that he's in terms of the contribution to the team, he contributes so much more, especially with the lack of minutes in comparison to Mount.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what it
100%
is, Scott. It's the
played
minutes.
before him.
Like Mount must have played what 3 times as many minutes, at
Oh,
least.
4 times
Mount plays.
easily.
Mount plays every game.
Easily.
Yeah. No, look. The other thing with Connor is that I think he played really well yesterday, but part of that was emotional. The other part of it was convincing Crystal Palace to come and buy him. And I mean, look again. My whole thing, I was talking to Sadiq and Matt Ball about this earlier today, but I'm like, look, what we need to do is we need to sell assets that people are willing to buy. Conor Gallagher is certainly one of them. Come to an evaluation that is comfortable for us, that Palace can still handle. Get him off the books. He makes 150 grand a week. Get him off the books. Okay, we need to start selling these players. It's not all about buying. We need to sell too. We really need to be considerate about this.
But it's hard to sell in this window, particularly just because we are in an injury crisis. We're
Yeah.
kind of in a predicament.
That's fair. Like, I think if you can work something out where you can sell him and he leaves in the summer, that would be preferable. The one thing I will say though, with this as well, is there's a couple things with this. Say the plan going forward, a lot of this I'm going to lay out is a lot of ifs. So say the plan going forward is to play the 4-2-3-1. Where does he fit in that?
Stick him in the,
backup ACM.
Yeah, backup really.
As the 10.
Because I'd
But
rather,
then,
as a 10,
So
but I'd
he's the
rather
backup
play
for
a
the
Felix
10,
or
then-
a Havertz there.
let's be honest, as much as we all want him to, Mount isn't leaving anytime soon. Like, unless he doesn't sign the contract,
I don't
he's not leaving
know.
anytime soon.
I don't know.
No, like, again, if he
there's
doesn't sign the
rumours he might
contract,
not
he
sign
will.
it.
If he signs a new contract, he's not leaving anytime soon, especially if he signs a new contract. So
That's
he's
fair.
ahead of him. You've got, I think all of us want Carney to be given minutes. He'd be ahead of him. And he is more of a 10. He can play in the DM, but he's more of a 10. You've got potentially Felix ahead of him, potentially Nkunku ahead of him. That's 4 players. Then you look at, okay, maybe we play a 4-3-3. Again, he's still got at least 3 of those players potentially ahead of him. You've then also got to look at he's competing with Kovacic. Especially if we buy Zakaria, if we buy Zakarian, if we buy Enzo, if we buy Caicedo, all of which are likely. Then you're looking at, right, how does he get into, like, how does he compete with the others when all the others offer something to the squad with the way we want to play going forward? Like, I don't see
forget
where
we
he
also have
fits.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
True. But I don't see where he
played
fits.
well.
Like, I don't see, again, it's like what I mentioned earlier about the Vlahovic and the Osimhen thing. Like, it might be a nice idea to keep Gallaghar to watch him develop, but where does he fit? Like, you can't fit him in somewhere because he can't play in a double pivot. He just can't, like, at all, because his ball retention is terrible and his positional awareness is not great when he's deep. Further up the pitch, it's okay, but when he's deep, it's not great.
Scott, this one in particular, he's always receiving the ball and he's facing either the sideline or our goal. When he's playing deeper, like, he never receives a ball looking up. That's like the first thing that's really bad about the anatomic way of the way that he plays defensive midfielder, because I played it, and like he just like his positioning is just terrible. Where he receives balls, he's already 1.5 to 2 seconds behind someone else that receive a ball that is square up the field, ready to go. Like, it's just like he doesn't know how to play the position at all.
No, and this is the thing is like, and again, it's just a fit. Like he'll probably. This is the thing. He will probably, like, I'm 100% sure he'll go to like a Palace, or he'll go to like a West Ham maybe, or something like that, like a place where they maybe play slightly differently in terms of certain things, like they might play defensive, like, or like counter-attacking football, like for actually tell you what, somewhere like a Brighton maybe, because like I watched a video on De Zerbi, the way they play football. Somewhere like a Brighton he might do well, because the way they play football, the way they do possession is slightly different. They kind of, it's a mix between like possession but with transitions as well. Like, I'd recommend going and watching the video. It's on Tifo Football, I think. It's quite interesting. But he might work there because the way they play football. I just don't. The fit just doesn't work with us. Unless he seriously improves his on the ball skills. Like, unless he seriously improves that, it just doesn't fit.
Nope, doesn't fit.
So, last thing I want to talk about, and this is more of me just having an agenda. Let's go ahead.
Hey,
and,
can I push back on one thing? It's not an agenda. It's a personal vendetta, or it's a personal mission. An agenda is a to-do list. An agenda is a to-do list. So do you have a to-do list against Rice? Do you have it? No. It's a malapropism that British people commit all the time. Agendas are to-do lists. They're not vendettas. They're not.
Listen, it's the Declan Rice out agenda. Do everything I can so that Declan Rice cannot come to the club. Like, tell you guys about this. Jacob Steinberg reporting earlier this week. Chelsea looked at the new low-cost loan deal for Mikel Antonio.
Oh my god!
And nothing on Declan Rice. So we stopped by the Hammers. We said, "Hey, how much for Antonio?" Okay, all right, cool. We're out. Yeah. We didn't even inquire about Declan Rice.
Dude, aren't they worried about firing their manager right now?
Yeah, they're a lot more worried about Moyes.
Well, it depends. It depends who they're going to sign as his replacement. I can't lie. If they're going for Deitch or Allardyce, there's no point. There's literally no point.
No, that's no. Fuck, who they're looking for is actually a really interesting one. Shit, I can't remember.
What league? Do you know what league?
Is he in a job?
Don? Is it Don to West
Ham? But while Carlito's trying to think about that, the thing with the Rice thing, and I've said this before, and people need to understand this, is we've never been in for him. We've never been interested. It's never been more than
Rafa Benitez.
Again, that's just a waste of time. Like,
wow,
I can't. It's just such a waste of time, mate. If you're going to sign a manager to replace Moyes, you're wanting to sign someone that's going to get the best out of the players you've just brought in. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, so you want someone that's going to change the style of football that they're going to play, so it suits better with what you've got brought with the new players.
Yeah, so I was kidding. It's a West Brom boss, Carlos Corberán.
Yeah, the thing is, like, look, I'm not. This is just for banter and trolling, right? But there is a possibility we go for Declan Rice this summer. But after this summer, if we don't go for him, we never were trying to go for him. That's just the way I see it. I don't think we're ever
going for him. I don't even think we're like at all. Nope. Like, we've never been in for him. As I said, it's never been more than like a fleeting interest. The only time we were ever concretely interested in him and wanted to get him was under Lampard. It was the only time. Yeah. Like, why are people thinking we're still interested in him? We just dropped a £100 million totaling, obviously with add-ons included and so on such, bid for some good dude from the Ukrainian league. We were ready to splash, what was it, 80 million euros on Enzo, literally just straight out there. But we've never been in. Rice's what's it called, price at the moment is apparently 70 million. That's attainable with what we're doing. Like that's absolutely attainable where we're looking at and everything. We're willing to spend 70 million on some dude that's been in from Ecuador, that's been in the league like 2 years. When do people can understand? We're never in for Rice ever. We've never been in for Rice. It's the same. It's the ITKs and all of the like fans that want Rice just keep pushing this. Like we've never ever apart from that Lampard year wanted him to a concrete level, not he's our number one target ever.
I think also with Rice, I think there's more solid links for Chelsea going for Jude Bellingham than there are for Rice at this point.
Yes.
Like, Bellingham fits the model of the under 25-year-old player, so I don't see why not. And to be honest, I think, at least for me, in my opinion, Jude Bellingham has shown more from what I've seen than Rice has. Rice,
He's better.
I'm not going to say Rice is bad. I don't think he's a bad player, but I just don't think, is he Chelsea level? Has he shown enough to really impress me at the Chelsea level? I don't know. And I haven't been convinced on Rice. I'll be honest with you, I have not. I like his progressive passing, but we can get someone else that does that.
Marshall, he's just a good player. He's good, but I don't want to be married to good for 10 years. I want to be married to great.
Exactly. The thing is, as well, is that and I mentioned this on another stream, is there was a game, I think when they played Arsenal and they lost 2-0, 3-1, whatever it was. There was a clip that went around of him like doing this this movement where like he won the ball, beat a player, sprayed a pass out. I think it was the same weekend I saw Zakaria do the same thing against Manchester City. The same thing. One's worth 70 million, one's worth 20. Why am I paying 70 million for something that a 20 million guy can do? Like, he can do the same thing. He can do literally the same thing. Like, this is the thing. Declan, as Carlito said it best, he's a good player, but you can go and get his qualities elsewhere for less, or you can go and get someone that's going to have a higher ceiling for the same price. Like, for example, a Caicedo. Caicedo's ceiling is going to be so much higher than Rice's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Scott, this is the guy I think we are going to get. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be Enzo. Although, I know you wanted him up even a month ago. You were talking about Enzo.
Oh, I still want him. 100%.
No, I hear you. I just not right. I just don't think it's going to happen right now because, that's a hefty one-time fee. That's brutal for us. But yeah, I do think it's going to be Caicedo, and I think it's going to be this week. Now, if I'm wrong, whatever. I'm not a journalist. I don't care. But I think I'm right on this. I think I'm right on this.
Yeah, I think we have some pulling power with Caicedo, considering Potter, considering, I don't know, we're Chelsea.
Dude, the president of Brighton. This is the funniest thing. The president of Brighton today was quoted saying, "Yeah, I don't know. Chelsea must have lost my email or something because they haven't emailed me about Caicedo yet. We know he's going to be a lot more than 45 mil, but we get it if a club wants to come in and buy him." Like, he's literally saying, "Guys, we'll sell him to you." So I think it's happening.
All right. Well, hopefully
he was
it
just
does.
being cheeky, but
Hopefully it does, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna call it right here. A nice lengthy stream for you guys, almost over 2 hours. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Big up to Carlito, Scott, Will, Chris, for you guys coming on. As usual, we always have a good show here. We're gonna have a stream on Wednesday. Not sure what that stream is gonna be yet. I think it's a little too soon to do another Casually Chelsea show. We might say that for next week, but we will have a stream regardless. You guys, make sure you're smashing that like button. Make sure you're subscribing if you're new. Check out the links below. Join our Discord. Be part of the Discord community. Big up to everyone that was here today. We're going to send you guys over to Sarcasm City. Make sure you say what's up. Make sure you let them know the casuals sent you. And until next time, boys, we'll catch you over on Sarcasm City stream. Give them a nice little raid. But you guys stay casual. Peace out.